To sit back and be like, nobody noticing me. I'm just this smooth guy running off with the money.
Current location 01010 Matrix Boulevard, somewhere in the American Society. Manifesto. Head west on Memory Lane toward North Babylon Trail for 0.3 miles. Turn left onto less traveled road in 700 feet. Turn right onto BLK Privilege Boulevard in 0.1 miles.
I try to tell them to follow the big dip, enticing by the ice on the side of a big ship, and now you get the true definition of big drip. The marathon.
Your destination will be on the right.
You must have thought that we was coming the same.
Shabbat shalom, gods and goddesses.
E-Didit, nigga. Man, you can't stop me, nigga. Man, you can't stop me, nigga. Yeah. Like, stop who? Nah, not me. It's a bird or a plane. Kinda hard to spot me, cause I'm steady rising. I'm where the top be. Keep it moving, keep it coming. I be living stop free. Like, y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Got people cussing me. Want me to hold their hand. Too busy holding bands. Too busy going in. I'm coming from the under. Need you to overstand. I started from the driveway. Now I'm a solar pan. By myself, no co-defendant on these cases. I'm using cases and I'm beating all my cases. I run it by myself. I'm stacking all these faces. How you get it? You too busy living basic. Stop who? Nah, not me. It's a bird or a plane. Kinda hard to spot me, cause I'm steady rising. I'm where the top be. Keep it moving, keep it coming. I be living stop free. Like, y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Stop who? Nah, not me. It's a bird or a plane. Kinda hard to spot me, cause I'm steady rising. I'm where the top be. Keep it moving, keep it coming. I be living stop free. Like, y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. I ain't dwelling on the past, that's irrelevant. Staying proud, smoking loud behind heavy tit, flow heavy sit. My swag you can never rent, trailers take a tit, do it big, Mr. Elephant. Ay, it's H-Ticket, yeah, I'm number one. Give a fuck about number two, I got shit to do. I'm ill with it, go and get it, Jordan with the flu. We gorillas on the loose, better go to zoo. By myself, no co-defendant on these cases. I'm using cases and I'm beating all my cases. I run it by myself, I'm stacking all these faces. How you get it? You too busy living basic.
Third world, baby, I done felt enough pain. The hard knock, baby, you could tell we not the same. I've been on this red, I'm a vet, it's been a minute. Riding through the city with my woo gone.
Stop who? Nah, not me. It's a bird or a plane. Kinda hard to spot me, cause I'm steady rising. I'm where the top be. Keep it moving, keep it coming. I be living stop free. Like, y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough. Y'all ain't real enough. Y'all can't get with us. Run them digits up. I can't get enough.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Magi Godcast.
Hey,
This is a Black Wall Street Bets Taco Tuesday where we talk about currency only. Today we are here with Empire Professor Ras Natty. What's going on, brethren?
building. It's another Taco Tuesday. We started out real light. Definitely want to thank everybody for being in the building tonight. I'm probably gonna do a real light market recon. We always do just to get to see the health of the market. I said that's one of the easier ways to see the health of the market. There's a couple other things you can do also, but for sure this is the for surefire way. This push right here, this is a 20-minute uptrend. 30. So it's a nice little push they got going on right now. So it's gonna be a smaller pullback. Man, it is going hard. Okay. Yeah, it's a smaller pullback coming. Right now I'm just patient, just waiting. And they got us glitching a little bit. Are we rocking?
Alrighty. So Bitcoin is at $37,348. Excuse me. It's up 2.61%. The dominance is currently at 43%. Sheesh. Ethereum's at 2,172, up 2% on the day. We got some Solano and some dot applied odds. 1 second, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so yeah, we have Solano at $94.54, up 5% on the day. You have Polkadot up 4%, almost 5%, 4.78% at $18.72 now. Loud on the mic. You have Luna at 61.71, down 4.8%. What else is on here? That is at 5 cents. I'm so used to seeing it at 7 cents. It's at 5 cents right now, up 6.98% on the day. Kasamo is up 1%, $175. What else is on here that we are into? BNB is currently at $381, up 4% on the day. Doge is at 14 cents, up 6% on the day. Litecoin is at $108, up 0.46% on the day. Very little growth there, but Litecoin is always doing its thing.
Litecoin still those solid levels.
ADA, also known as Cardano, is at $1.04, up 0.4%. Another small percentage increase right there. Chainlink is at $15.57, up 1%. Phantom is up 3% at $2.32.
Mana is right next to it, and Crowcoin is right up there.
Mana is at $2.17, up 6%. Crowcoin
straight up the top from Chainlink
is at 40 cents, up 8% on the day. Ooh, big growth there.
Normal growth.
8%.
Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is the biggest person that moves 2. Solana is smaller than Bitcoin that moves 5, and the next person smaller than that moves 10. Right, so 8% ain't nothing crazy.
Okay.
That's another thing too.
That's another thing. BAT is up 10% at 81, or arguably 82 cents. Right here, if you guys can see it. Any other coins that you're curious about knowing? If y'all watching in the chat, let us know. Matic is at $1.58, up 8% on the day. Shiba Inu. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. But yep. That's the market. Crypto Recon.
And where is Shib at? Since you screaming names on the junk, I see Luna right there. You
I don't
Luna?
even know how to say this. That's why I just said I laughed.
No, Shib. What you mean?
Wait, Shib?
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying? It's up 2% or the number?
Yeah, I just saying what the percentage is.
Oh, it's up 2%.
All right.
2.4%.
It only got one number on the board.
What do you mean?
All zeros and then one number on the board.
No, 21.
Okay, so it's 2-1. Okay, yeah, I couldn't see. You gotta see checking SHIB is one of those weird things because this shows the retail market damn near. If you see people in these type of not even the retail, more so than the. You want to see if the market crazy, right? You kind of want to look for those telltale signs to see what narratives people are following. Man, what is? Yeah, I'm gonna pull out the charts up in a little bit. Something I've seen. ADA, XRP, Bitcoin. Yeah, see, as far as the market, a lot of people probably. I was talking to some of my dogs earlier, and they was saying it's a scam. But I think he was saying it in a flat sense. He was saying that like they're dragging it down. It went down a little bit, so I felt like they want people to sell. But if we buy more instead of selling, we eat when it go back up. All the time. My bad, y'all. I didn't want to make too much noise in the camera with my papers.
Shoot, sorry. I'm making all the noise. Feet. Alrighty, so Cardi B wins over $4 million in libel lawsuit against YouTuber. Cardi B sued YouTuber Tasha Kibi for claiming that Cardi B sued YouTuber vlogger Latasha Kibi for claiming that the rapper, whose real name is BLK Almanzar. Man, that sounds like a dictator name. Anyways, contracted herpes and
What's a dictator?
Taken hard drugs.
What's a dictator?
Anybody with czar at the end. Anybody with Czar.
What you mean? What's a dictator name?
Charizard.
Who is that?
That's a Pokemon character. Alrighty. This article is by Tim Fitzsimmons and Variety. An Atlanta jury awarded Cardi B nearly $3 million in punitive damages and attorney's fees on Tuesday in her libel lawsuit against celebrity gossip blogger Tasha K. The award comes on top of the $1.25 million that the jurors awarded on Monday after finding Tasha K, whose real name is Latasha Key, liable on counts of defamation, invasion of privacy, and infliction of emotional distress on Cardi B, whose real name is that name I said earlier. Cardi B's 2019 suit claimed the YouTuber had begun a campaign of making blatantly defamatory statements about the rapper to promote Kibi's celebrity gossip website for her personal financial gain. One of Kibi's videos in 2018 claimed the rapper's then unborn child may have intellectual disabilities, that she prostituted for a living, got herpes, and took Molly and cocaine. The suit also accused Kibi of claiming on Instagram that Cardi B was just a Grammy-nominated prostitute running around spreading her herpes, and said the YouTuber has become obsessed with slandering the plaintiff. In the last 14 months, Kibi has put out at least 23 videos regarding the plaintiff. The federal jury in the Northern District of Georgia, where Kibi lives, awarded $1 million on Monday to cover Cardi B's pain, suffering, and reputational damage, as well as another $250,000 for medical expenses. On Tuesday, the jurors ordered Kibi to pay an additional $1 million in punitive damage, and her company, Kibi Studios LLC, to pay another $500K. On top of that, Kibi is required to reimburse Cardi B for the personal cost of bringing the lawsuit, a total of $1.3 million. That brings the total verdict to nearly $4.1 million, as confirmed by Cardi B's lawyer Lisa F. Moore. Sadir Sabak, who represented Kibi in the case, issued a terse statement to Variety. We disagree with the verdict and we will be filing an appeal. Cardi B, in a statement to Variety, said, after almost 4 years of repeated libel and slander against me, being able to walk away from this victorious brings me great happiness. During this trial, all of you have learned that the darkest time in my life, she said, the moment in time was fueled by the vile, disgusting, and completely false narratives that were repeatedly and relentlessly being shared online. I thought I would never be heard or vindicated, and I felt completely helpless and vulnerable. I have never taken for granted the platform that my fame allows me to have, which is why for over 3 years I dedicated every resource I had to seek justice. For who?
What you mean?
Who's she seeking justice for? Oh, she's talking about in this case?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was confusing. Which is why for over 3 years I dedicated every resource.
Yes, I have never taken.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, and she's saying this young lady who has a platform is taking it for granted. So that's why she made her stance immediately known. Right.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. All right, that is the conclusion of that article.
Some more money talk. Miss Belle Calliston got caught up in some stuff. She's been vindicated, so I guess that's all I could walk away from the story saying. But I really came in the story just to I just wanted to bring up a story because we always like these light topics. It's also Taco Tuesday, so I definitely wanted some money involvement. Man, this is a bad way. I don't know, bro. I don't know. The young lady's lawyer said that he's appealing or whatever. He said he doesn't agree with the verdict, blah blah blah. So I don't know. Maybe they have something else. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more deep dive into the motherfucking. I said it on purpose. I seen Jake Cal say that. But yeah, a little bit more. Just man, like I said, right now I just want to keep it surface level as far as the money. Man, she getting to the bag. She said she dedicated 3 years and number of resources, right, to seeking justice. And like I said, sometimes I'm telling you, it always happens, but sometimes people as YouTubers and a lot of other things, they undervalue themselves. They come into things they don't really understand the power they have, right? They look at it like, man, I'm just this YouTuber. That's why I tell people all the time when they come on the cast, when they go anywhere, like, you gotta be careful of just putting input for no reason, right? That's not a lot of that stuff. We have to be very, very careful about giving input for no reason because we do have a platform. So we got to use it righteous, right? So even if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But just to be, I don't know, just to have so much random input into a story or saying this and just making stuff up, you feel me? That's not the purpose of this shit, bro. And I think that's where we really lost our way. We lost our morals, bro. Like just the way we live it right now. Brother was explaining, Thomas Sowell was explaining that back in the 70s and 80s, even the 90s, I don't know if he said the 90s per se because the 90s was great, but he was saying, bro, they was sleeping outside. It used to get so hot, they used to sleep outside on like the fire hydrant johns. And he said, bro, the stuff that motherfuckers be worrying about now, and if anybody's been watching any of the cast, right, y'all, I know y'all heard stories about what's going on in New York. People pushing people here, people killing people there, people shooting this, shooting that. So much so that the mayor, Eric Adams, said that he's bringing back the that one controversial unit, right? Those same stop and frisk type of boys, those same plain clothes guys. He said he got to bring it back, bro. He said he got to bring it back. And you know, I hear a lot of community activists and groups saying, yo, I don't know.
Wait,
bro.
So the black guy saying he's bringing this stuff back?
Yeah, Eric said he got to bring it back. And you know, Eric said he grew up and he had some tough times with him, right? So he said he wanted to make a change in the community. So maybe Eric got a plan, but yeah, he said he gonna have some plainclothes guys stationed around, thinking within the areas that have the highest crime or whatever situation it is.
Interesting.
But that's what's going on right now as far as everything, but people not using their platform right, about people in New York losing it, about everything in this world. You know why? Because we're coming up on this time that nobody has any morals. Morals are gone, bro. The brother Thomas Sowell also was saying that the only way to replace the anointed, it is not really to replace them, but he just saying like there is societies that survive and is moralistic without traditionally believing in that God character, right? Because they have something called love, right? Love. And then he ran down a couple other 4-letter words, duty. Love and duty is two of them that he said for sure. Work. He has some interesting ones, right? And when you hear these things, it just, bro, that's problem in our community, bro. If anybody know about anything, especially, I don't know, maybe I don't know about nothing, but the only thing that I know about, bro, is a community that I've been around. It's not a lot of listeners, not a lot of people that want to grow from their current position. A lot of people that got answers. All right, that's one thing I learned about broke people. They got more answers than everybody. I was listening to the brothers. I gotta stop shouting people out. But hey, we about to get into this John in a little bit, man, because I'm not even watching the charts. Right, and stuff could be getting bad for me. Yeah, it's getting bad for me. It's getting terrible for me. Because this is a fail, and then this is about to be a re-push. Let's see who they're going to catch. Damn. Y'all boys pushed away far from me. That's a cold game y'all playing here, my brothers. Yes. What we about to do is we about to see what's going on, and we may call this fall from the top. And what's interesting is I think that's a new high. No, it was 37,563. Right now it's 37.534.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to. Right now it's a 1 minute downtrend test. They're gonna have to flip that 1 minute downtrend test to be able to accomplish that number. They can. Like, it's not far fetched, but. And what's this purple now? Oh, this is a resistance that we.
Are you trying to see if this is the pass right here with the red?
No. It don't even matter if it's a pass or fail because we're gonna have to wait for the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it turns around green, and if this red giant get flipped anytime within the next 2 candles, that's a fail. Even within the next 4 candles, that's a fail. I don't know how big these candles will have to be to make this shit past this, bro. So that's not their job right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to do a down, a up, and then the up is gonna fail, and then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, now it's time to sell, right? So there's no more. Can you zoom out a little bit? I want to see if there's an entry set up on. Yeah, it's fully extended. Do you have an RSI on there? It's not oversold though.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go all the way to the end of it? Yeah, it's not. It's actually perfect. Can you go to the 20 minute? Because that's what the 30 minute, because that's what they really used as their flipper.
Mm-hmm.
It's oversold them there. No.
Mm-mm.
Hold on. Where's the midline? It's over the midline, right?
I don't see a midline. It's in between 2 lines, but there's no midline for the RSI.
Huh?
Are you talking about these 2 lines at the top and bottom? Or are you talking about a line that would be right here?
Yeah, it's always a midline. What's that mid number right there?
50.53.
Yeah, that's the midline. But I don't know. It's not there on your John, which is why you have 50.53 instead of 50 flat. But there's a midline in the middle of that whole shit. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Some of them read different. So I ain't gonna stress it. But yeah, the RSI, what I just brought up, this is another indicator. Like I said, it's a strength index. So RSI, relative strength index, simple, really self-explanatory, right? You kind of use this to see the strength of the trend.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people use this to see if it's overbought, oversold, and things like that. But I don't know. I more so use it as like a momentum keeper. Like even if I see it being oversold sometimes. And what's that line up there? That top line.
This one?
The top number on the RSI.
70.
70, and the bottom one is 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so whenever it's at 30, that's people usually gonna look at that as oversold, right? I mean, yeah, oversold. 70 overbought. Like these are the 2 numbers that they use a lot, and then 50 is one of those relative numbers. So yeah, that's all right. That's an interesting one right there for sure. But I did send you something, and I sent you that based on the next direction that I'm going actually. But I think I was supposed to send you a video also. But
this one?
Yeah, but I may want you to. Yeah, I may have set you up. I thought I had the other video in there. That's it though. If you wanna, because just let me set the stage right now. Right, I'm just gonna, because what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna set like a small stage. I want to figure out, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying, "Yo, this is a crash. This is that." So we had some conversations earlier. Somebody was saying, "Yo, this is a scam. They want us to sell." Blah blah blah. Right. So I heard a lot of these different concepts. Right. So I immediately want to get into this concept. What OG saying?
I think he's referring to the Tasha K situation.
Shout out to that brother, free mind for sure. Right, Empress, but everybody's saying this is a crash. Some people saying it's not. Everybody right now is trying to figure out But what they're doing, a lot of people saying, yo, this is like the .com bubble. Like a lot of people, they started to throw that out there. They blah, 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 blah. So what I'm doing is I'm just feeling a little, we're going to start from the .com bubble. We're going to kind of start from what it is, kind of what happened. Just a little quick overview. And the reason why we do that on this cast, because a lot of times we talk about stuff, and when you get the basis, once you start hearing other casts, you're like, oh snap, I did hear them speak about that, and they were saying this happened, and you gotta, you feel me? Because I be seeing people, I think stories mean nothing to them, so they don't really be knowing the fuck you be talking about. They just heard the important shit to them, and then they don't know how to do it. Because the story is what is the most important part, right? So right now I'm gonna explain what happened in the .com situation. I'm gonna explain what's happening right now, and we're gonna talk about how to profit from these situations, right? So I sent Empress a small John. Like I said, I could have done that last, but I kind of want to set the stage for it because it's setting the stage. It's orange. It's setting a nice stage for me. So let's go, Empress, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Flows.com was a .com venture, now defunction, based in New York City, that went online February 1999. It was promoted by comic actress Whoopi Goldberg in a series of television advertisements started by iVillage co-founder Robert Leviton. The company attempted to establish a currency unique to internet merchants, somewhat similar in concept to airline frequent flyer programs or grocery store stamp books. The name Flows was based upon the Arabic word for money, flus. Users accumulated Flows credit either as a promotional bonus given away by some internet business, or purchased directly from Flows.com, which then could be redeemed for merchandise at a variety of participating online stores. Adoption of Flows by both merchants and customers proved limited, and it never established itself as widely recognized medium of exchange, which hindered both its usefulness and appeal.
So immediately you could immediately jump into this situation and sort of kind of look at it as a Bitcoin situation, which is why I have it orange and I say, okay, just check out what we had going on. I also wanted to get Whoopi in the show too, so I ain't gonna lie. I wanted to get Whoopi in the show. So Whoopi was doing commercials with the main actor for this brand, and this is Empress explained. This was sort of like a Bitcoin in a sense, not Bitcoin in its functionality, but just the way it postulated itself, right? It was like, yo, it's a digital currency basically. It's like it made absolutely no sense, and they had no success at all. Very, very, very short-lived, right? But what happened was there was a time in the 1993, I want to say, right? Let me send you this link right here, Empress, because I want you to have these. And I didn't want to send them to you too early. I don't know why I didn't want to send them to you too early. I didn't want you to have too much stuff in there. But yeah, so everything is in there. And I just sent a random video. So yeah, if you in there, you could grab that video and run.
Let me know when you're out so I can.
The video is in there though. Did you just hear me?
Yeah, but if you're in there, it doesn't. Never mind.
So that's not the video that's right there in there?
Yeah.
That's why I just tried to explain to you. Just grab the video and run.
Okay. Is there a timestamp? It's 39 minutes.
No, if it was a timestamp, I would have told you. I just need you to just start the video for me. I just need the video started for me. And what I was saying was, let me make sure I set this another stage too. I was saying, is this a crash or a crash course? They say crash course. It's like you go through some shit. We just put all the information in and you learn it very fast. A lot of people that spoke about this situation that we're currently going through, they say, yo, this shit is like a quickening, right? We went from having this whole internet situation and thinking about how to implement it, right? But once we finally got to that point, it was going to be like 2025, 2030. The same way they doing this, gradually raising your income over a 5-year period. Same way the Fed do it over the 10-year bonds and all these different time frames. So that's how it was looked at through these time frames. So now keep time frames in your mind, because I'm gonna come back, because I don't want to drag. What they say, belabor the point too much, right? I don't want the point to work too hard for me, because I have a setup for him. And this video, this is a complete different video from the one that I originally wanted to play. But like I said, so I'm seeing the way I just sort of kind of moving, so I don't want too much pressure on.
It's nothing like the crazy stuff.
With especially the last couple of days, this week's been kind of ugly for tech. And I know there's been a lot of talk about, has growth run its path? Was COVID? Are you seeing any similarities to the dot-com era 2000? And if so, what are they? If not, what are the differences?
I'm seeing some similarities. I'm seeing some differences.
Okay.
Number one, valuations in both periods got to what I would call mania speculative levels.
Okay.
Monetary policy.
And like I said, we're which is why this cash is set up the way it is, where we go in on things like, most cash, you go on there, they tell you, yo, buy this stock and make sure you got your no. Right. History is the greatest teacher, a lot of this stuff. Some of the greatest currency traders, some of the greatest traders in the world, but come talking about currency traders, just to be super and exact, somebody like a George Soros. Like, we talk about Soros all the time, but we don't know how Soros made his money. So Soros made his money shorting the pound. That's where his bread came from. I think he made like $1 billion, something crazy in a day. Druckenmiller, this brother that we're playing right now, was like a right-hand man. He was like right under there. He was in there, and he was doing the same situation. And he's learned a lot from Soros. And he was one of the only profitable guys after that 2008 crash, right? And what happened that was super interesting with the 2008 crash is we didn't experience inflation. I'm gonna explain that in a little bit. Sometimes crashes happen weird. If the market crashes before the inflation happens, you don't really have a inflation in a sense. The market crashes and we just start back over in a sense. But the inflation come when you're trying to save the market, right? QEs and all that type of situation. You try to save the market. You try to say, yo, let's go 4%, let's go 6% tax. That's the whole point of this, right? So just listen to what the brothers explain. Like I said, it was another video that I have, but I kind of want to, I just want to keep the video short because I have a couple of things that I want Empress to run through as far as reading. So I don't want to stress the point.
She was part of the issue in '99 when Greenspan decided.
Exactly. And the one thing that I did forget, though, when he was talking about the valuations, what happened is the same thing that was just happening recently, right? And anybody that knows anything about the market know that this was happening, right? Where we was like, hold on, what's the utility of that? No, don't buy that. What you mean you bought that? Why did you buy that for? Huh? Utility? What you mean? What's the utility of it? Okay. So you said it do what? It's a liquidity provider. Okay. What that is? Oh, it's an exchange. This the exchange you use? Okay. That makes sense. Right. The valuation meant nothing. Meaning that you didn't have to even be profitable before even going public. It don't happen a lot. So don't let me say it like it happened a lot. It happened when that shit crashed. And it's happening right now when a lot of this nonsense and this folliness is going on. Right? But keep in mind exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. There are some similarities. I'm going to explain the differences in a little bit. But the main similarity that stuck out to me, like I said, I had Empress play Flues. Run down Flues. And you kind of seen Flues as orange. It was digital currency. It just seemed like, oh, it's not digital market. Internet 1.0. Web 1.0. I'm sorry, Web 1.0. They had a bunch of plans. But what happened was the market was so new. It's just like with NFT and all these other crazy stuff. Somebody would say, yo, what's the value in it? And they're like, yo, the market new right now, bro. You just got to buy something. And it's like, all right. I got to buy something. Let me buy something. God damn it. I need to buy something. I need to buy something. That's the narrative that happened. So what he's explaining about the valuations and these things is because the way people was valuing company, it wasn't based on performance. Like last time me and Empras was talking about it. And, you know, people go off PE ratio and this and that and how this and you feel me? And, the .com wasn't worrying about that. So that's the same comparison to what we seen just now when I was explaining people was just buying NFTs. People just bought SHIB. They just bought things. There was no utility, no purpose. It was just like, yo, if he can get it, I can get it. If he can get it, I can get it, right? So just listen to some of this because I'm going to expound on it a little bit.
Decided he want to run an experiment where he'd let unemployment go below levels where it had historically been. It's nothing like the crazy stuff we're doing now, but that helped set it up. But what was really going on back then, I mean, think about the fact that Netscape didn't really exist until '95. So other than some nerdy professors back in the early '80s, no one even had email. Right. Much all the stuff we have now. So literally, the internet was just sort of being built. And the big winners in '99 were companies like Sun Micro and Cisco that were building the guts of the internet, constructing it. So what happened was the growth was so rapid as this went on, and valuations combined with some easy money got baked in those growth rates as far as the eye could see. But think of the internet infrastructure like the railroads 150 years ago, and think of the tech stocks as a company selling railroad ties, building the guts of the internet. So once the railroad is built, while you're building the railroad, your sales are going up 50, 60, 70% a year. But once the railroad is built, your growth not only doesn't go up 70%, it goes down because on a rate of change basis, you don't need any more railroad ties. So what none of us saw, me included, in early 2000, were a lot of these companies with estimates of 50, 60, 70% for the next 2 or 3 years, their business was literally about to collapse. So the NASDAQ went down 95%, not 30, 95, because you had this combination of inflated values, way overestimated earnings out there, and then earnings collapsed. So today, you have something similar and something different. So monetary policy is absolutely insane. We had no QE back then. Our rates weren't 0. They were 4 or 5 when they probably should have been 6 or 7. No comparison. So we have an asset bubble now that's not just in tech stocks, it's in everything. SPACs, Dogecoin, although maybe some of the young viewers disagree. You name it, if you're an asset, you've been moving. But what we also have, back then, you had this incredible wave from '95 to 2000 while the internet was being built.
All right, now that's another point that he's making that I also see some similarities with, as far as it almost seemed to be too much exchanges now. It's exchanges everywhere. Like you can literally go on your phone right now and type in like crypto, and it'll be like a bunch of random exchange. Crypto trade. It's just like, hold on, what is this? Now I never heard of y'all. Y'all trade stock? It's like, right. So that's what he's saying. There's so much people that they're not even building the guts because they're not mining. They're not really doing nothing, but there's still right a mediary in between you and the actual product. Right, and that's what he's explaining about how around that .com boom is just like with the railroad situation where niggas was doing the tires and blah blah blah, and then it came to a point where we're like, yo, we done with the railroad, bro. So within that time that you're growing, you grow exponentially, which is why he's going to talk about from 1995 to about 2000. Right, there was an exponential rate of growth. Right, a lot of the growth came right at 99, really 2000, around that 99 period, because you got to think about it, which I ain't even gonna bring it up yet. But right, there was other things. It was other catalysts. The same way we got a catalyst today, where it's like, yo, COVID. All right, they had a catalyst. All right, so I'm gonna bring that catalyst up in a few. I'm ready to get back to that, brother.
What you have now is this incredible wave of digital transformation, particularly moving on to the cloud. And I used to say 2 or 3 years ago in some interviews, well, we're in like the bottom of the first or the second inning, and this is a 10-year runway. Well, COVID sort of jumped you from the bottom half of the first to the sixth inning.
Wow.
Not the ninth, but to the sixth.
Right.
I think the guy from Shopify said we went from 2019 to 2030 in 1 year because of COVID. I think it was him. I think the difference now is if you're a customer and you haven't moved to the cloud, you're dead, because who you're competing against, they can just beat you because the technology is so important. So now, full disclosure, I didn't see what was coming in 2000 coming, but I am really hard up to come up with a scenario while this digital transformation thing is going to collapse and these SaaS companies are going to go away. And the biggest problem.
All right, so then he's talking about SaaS companies. SaaS companies, I wouldn't say it's new, but now it's like every company is almost SaaS, where it's software as service, right? So it's software as service. Like, it's just like all these brands are SaaS now. Goddamn. I'm even looking at Zoom. I think Zoom be SaaS. Maybe they're not selling software, but that shit software to me. They for sure SaaS. Fuck all that. I ain't even talking no more. So that's what it is, software as service. So it's like people that sell services, but it's software. So there's other people that do services. You know, services generally serve service, but there's software services, which is the new wave that he was talking about as far as SaaS. So all of these things is playing into the internet. These are all internet things. These are internet is getting better, blah blah blah, Web 3.0, all this stuff. So now SaaS become a lot more important, where it's like utilities and securities, and I do this and I'm selling you the way to monetize it. Like, just you feel me? It's software service. So software services as software, but my bad. So yeah, that's it.
You have now is the overall bubble in asset prices and where price got to these names in particular. The good news is, if we had this conversation 2 months ago, the good ones were like 45 or 50 times sales, not earnings, sales. They're down to, there's a range, I'd say now 10 to 25 times sales for the good ones. So if the problem is price, and in my opinion, that is the problem, a lot of that has been wrung out. And I think if you hold these names for 3 or 4 years, they can easily grow into their valuations.
All right, and let me let him speak on it.
If you held the names in 2000, a lot of these companies, you still had losses of 90, 85, 90% of your value.
Right.
So those are the similarities and those are the differences.
Right. So to summarize, it sounds like kind of the key differences would be the monetary.
And also, we got to think about the fact the NASDAQ as a whole, I think, went down about 95. I want to say 95%. I want to say 95%. I'm gonna bring the exact study up.
Also completely different, and
But yeah, the last thing that he was just explaining, just so I can touch on that a little bit more. What he was explaining was, if we would have spoke about 2 months ago, they was about 40% down or such and such. Now they're about 10 or 20% down. So they're good. right, is what he's explaining. He's saying that overvaluation, a lot of that is already knocked out the market, right? Like we're he's basically saying like we're touching the bottom, like trying to figure out where it's at, but we're not too far from it. So like I even say that with trading, where it's like you can buy right here, they might do a small pullback, but they ain't got nothing for you, bro. Right? Based on the bigger time frames, they have nothing for you, right? And that's the same thing he's explaining right now. He's saying that these names still sound attractive, especially now that this correction happened or this retracement happened type situation. Now you can like look at it now and be like, okay, cool. That's the price they're saying is that. I like that price still. That's even a better price than I liked before because I didn't know about prices. You got to think. You got to put all these things into your psychology moving forward, because he's what he's explaining is when that .com bubble popped, bro, there's still stocks and companies that's gone and companies that may be still around that haven't recovered, bro. So what he's saying is those stocks, if you'd have held them, you would have still been out of 90%, 80% goddamn of your revenue. A lot of these stuff right now, you still got some room to run. This is not where you buying and it's no comeback because they about to end it all and blah, blah, blah. This is cheap because we're trying to figure out direction. Even tomorrow, we're going to have a little bit more direction because that's when a meeting is taking place. So there's going to be a little bit more direction coming tomorrow.
Wait, what's taking place?
The Feds, they're having a
no, what you call it?
A meeting.
Oh.
Or what I said?
A meeting?
No, I was it's a meeting going on with these boys. A meeting in these boys' bedroom.
The names themselves are just as a company and looking further out in the economy, it's just the likelihood of those still existing is much higher.
Yeah, the other similarity is back then, I remember a lot of value managers were virtually going out of business.
Right.
At the end of 2000, one of the greatest investors of all time, Julian Robertson, who was long value and short these crazy tech names, he basically threw in the towel and said he couldn't take it anymore and stopped managing money in early 2000. But what happened in the next 3 to 5 years was incredible. Companies like Phelps Dodge copper companies went up 6 to 8 fold, 6 to 8 times for the old industrial stuff. So everything Julian was long went up many fold, and the tech stocks went down a lot. We do have some similarities there today because these COVID companies, beneficiaries, so much demand was pulled forward that they got too high and too much ownership. And as we're reopening, there's also an ownership problem where there's probably more money that needs to rotate out of the secular growers into these, I'll call them reflation names.
All right, right there, he's explaining that not that growth stock, because that there's some people that I was listening to when I first came into this situation. I'll shout them out on the next cast, but they have a situation where they do rotations. And that's usually how institution people do it, because if you listen to that brother speak, that brother's a VC, right? That's how he makes a lot of his money, buying business and selling business. Well, not selling them technically, but investing early stage investment, right? That's how he makes a lot of his money. So when he had that mindset, it's like, oh snap, he comes from institutional mindset. So he's just thinking just like the institutional. So this setup is actually effective in times such as these, when you need actual skills and you need to figure out how to maneuver this market. But in a bull market, a lot of people, I think they undervalued him, where they was looking here, they was looking there, blah, blah, blah. And now he's almost the Julian Roberts of the situation now, because I'm not saying Julian Roberts, you can walk away because you're getting smacked, but you see, that's the thing. He's probably had early buys. He's probably a smart investor. Insiders probably took profit. You know, he's a VC on some companies, so maybe he wasn't able to take profit somewhere somehow. But right, he was able to garnish a lot of wages. He was a lot of income to that brother. So maybe it's not as bad, but I was just saying he right now technically like a Julian Roberts based on. I know the tech sector is down heavy. He's heavy into the tech sector, right? He believes in a lot of tech, so I know his portfolio is tech heavy. So I'm just imagining how much he's probably down in his portfolio, and you know he's a good trader, so maybe he's rationalizing it like blah blah blah, right? It's the only thing I could imagine. Well, he's a good. I'm pretty sure he's an investor. He's a great investor. So I don't want to call the brother a trader. I'm not sure how effective he is just with the trading aspect of the game, but he's definitely a valued investor. So maybe he has a plan, right? And hopefully he has legacy stocks. I would only imagine, right, that he's rotating the funds into where it's like, okay, because he has a rotation set up. So hopefully it's in the tech and it's going to rotate over here, then it's going to rotate over consumer discretionaries. You feel me? What I can hope for, because that's what he's explaining right now is money is almost stuck in the growth. It's not that the growth has ran its course. It's just money is stuck and we need to get the money out. So we need to figure out a way to rotate the fucking funds because that's the problem. So I'm gonna play a few more of this video because I got another one that I want him to almost also expound on. He was talking to another young lady.
But I do want to say very differently, I think these things are secular growers and they'll probably be fine long term. Amazon at 3,200 is not a bubble stock, not whatsoever. It's basically decent value. Right. And I don't just mean Amazon, but a lot of the
like the big tech
so-called FANGs names, yeah.
Right, absolutely. Just as a curiosity that I see, I actually asked yesterday a bunch of my Twitter followers what they want to ask is, do you have an opinion of any of the FANG kind of names, including Microsoft, who will get the 5 trillion first?
What a great question. I've always answered that with Amazon and Microsoft. I've never really believed Apple had the innovation to take you to the next level, and it was mainly a hardware company. They obviously have morphed into this services app company, but as you know, it's funny, that's the one they haven't talked about being a monopoly. But when you look at monopoly behavior, charging a 30% rent to all these, little companies seems a little extreme, whereas Amazon and Microsoft, they basically don't raise price. So my guess,
that all should be pretty self-explanatory, right?
My number one, if you put a gun to my head or we're going to Vegas, would be Amazon, and number 2 would be Microsoft.
Okay.
Google could have a big pop, ironically, if the government breaks them up, because their core search business is literally the best business I've ever seen. But they keep trying all this experimental stuff that challenges shareholder value, but those guys are so rich, they're more interested in changing the world right now, and good for them.
Yeah, they get to do mushrooms, go to the desert, and just think about wild things they can do in their space with the moonshots, right?
Well said.
So what is the biggest risk to the equity market right now? I think you touched on some of that.
Without a doubt, it's inflation strong enough that this Fed responds to it.
Right.
No doubt about it. This bubble has gone long enough, and it's extended enough that the minute they start tightening, the equity market should go down a lot, particularly with so much of the cap weighted in growth stocks.
And I was telling Empras about this the other day. I was listening to a guy, and he was saying how Trump was so upset 2019 with this guy. He said it's been going on for 3 years now. Just do the math. I don't know if y'all good at math, but he said Trump was upset with probably Jerome Powell, right? Or Senator, the nigga with the small mouth. One of them guys. One of the guys out there, bro. My bad for talking about you, brother. See, look, I'm throwing my input in there. Got nothing to do with nothing. One of you brothers, Trump had a problem with y'all. Trump looked at y'all and he was like, bro, you just caused a recession, right? And we all just played it to the left. It's like, nah, I ain't calling a recession, bro. You know what? We good. It's COVID, bro. damn, why did I say that bad word? But nevertheless, right? They thought they just said, yo, let's write it off. Let's write it off. This brother is saying, yo, we're way overdue. 3 years overdue. I don't know why he's using 3 years in exact. He's in business. He was one of the only niggas that was profitable in 2008 or 2009, right? His matter of fact, he's so fucking profitable, bro. First of all, a lot of people don't know about him. That's the one guy people don't even mention when they talk about traders and this and that. Right. This brother is so profitable, bro, in the investment space that he used to work for a hedge fund. His own situation, right? And he was just like, yeah, I can't change. It's just too profitable over here. I told y'all about another brother like that, but he's like, yo, it's too profitable over here. So he only has like a family office. I'm still doing stuff publicly. I still got companies on the book. Still got a little portfolio here and there, but that just ain't my vibe no more. I'm not really looking into make people money right now. The money, you feel me? It's almost a guaranteed. So like, I kind of need you to be within the system. I know a little bit earlier it was like, yo, you taking a risk on me. Here you go, some money, right? But now it's almost guaranteed, right? I don't really need you to rock with it too tough.
Which would be hit the worst. And our central case is that inflation occurs, but we're open-minded to something like 07, 08, where you never really got to the inflation because the bubble popped. So the inflation never got to the manifestation stage. That would be the second one. In terms of geopolitical stuff, it's become a popular view, but I'm worried about Taiwan. And I think it's probably not a worry until after the Beijing Olympics.
Right.
I don't think all that Saudi Arabia
Absolutely.
investors were in the late 80s and early 90s. And with
Right.
the internet, tell from your broker. When I
All right, now listen to this last one, right? This one right was this is another gem. Like I said, everything he's saying is gems. I'm just skipping through some of them a little bit, just kind of
started in the business, retail dominated institutions.
Okay.
And you got most of your information.
When he started in the business, retail dominated institution.
From your broker. The amazing thing about the current retail investor is they have access to things like Toggle. So they're actually much better informed than the retail investors were in the late 80s and early 90s. And with the internet, they have tools, and the way you already mentioned, they congregate. The big risk is they're all loaded up in this stuff. You know, don't confuse genius with a bull market. And something exogenous talks like we're talking about, and they all lose enough money that they're scarred.
Yeah.
I've always thought the Japanese investor would come back to the market in 5 or 10 years after the bubble burst. That was 1990, and they still haven't come back to the market. So I worry about scoring, but no, I think my guess is the after effect of Wall Street bets is here to stay, and they'll probably migrate away from some of the more radioactive names like GameStop, and I think it'll actually end up being some kind of healthy information sharing network.
Right. So you did mention Toggle as kind of a tool that can be used in these environments, or just in general as in an investor's toolkit. So how different would that have been, back in the 80s to have a tool like that?
Oh my God. If you had Toggle and nobody else did, you'd have absolutely murdered their results.
Right.
When I started in the business, Fed watching was considered unique. And I used Ned Davis and other technical services. And I just felt I had a huge advantage over the general public. So any tool you have like Toggle, which is clearly predictive of price moves, but even more interesting in this case, because of the mathematical capability of it, can analyze thousands of securities.
Right.
And I only have 16 hours a day, and I'm not that fast of a reader. So if you had a tool like that back then, it would be like my advantages plus 5x. And the way I think about Toggle is, I don't know how much you know about me, but I've always said I like multi-disciplines in managing money. So my first boss taught me technical analysis. So I use fundamental analysis and technical analysis. And if there's thousands of securities out there, and my technical analysis. So I use fundamental.
So coming from like the George Soros and those brothers right there, he was taught in the technical analysis point of the game, but he said he's one that believes in multifaceted money management type situation, where it's like, no, for sure we're using a technical because you do that shit right. But what do you say they're using over here? Interesting. Let's see what it's about. It worked. Let's try it. Listen to what he says, because what he says is super important. That's the last. I'm gonna end it right there.
And technical analysis. And if there's thousands of securities out there, and my portfolio is only going to consist of 15 or 20, I'm never going to buy something that doesn't have a great chart and great fundamentals.
Right.
I do that. If you brought something like Toggle into that, it's just one more fantastic screening mechanism.
Right. So it's not it's not about the actual app. It's more so about having, it's like us sitting on here being like, yo, if y'all know any stocks that y'all looking at, blah, 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 throw it up there. Because you may throw up a stock and we may go look at the chart and be like, woo, did you see this? Nah, this is the one. I don't know how you found this one, but you found a gem, right? You got to kind of, because that's what he's explaining about Toggle. Toggle sets it up to where you have the ability. It's almost like a stock screamer. I was checking it out a little bit. I don't even know what I'm saying the name. I'm done saying that. Let Brett speak.
That gives me the discipline. So now I've got a triple screen to hold or buy or sell securities. That would be invaluable. And again, to the public who doesn't have access to information I have as an institutional investor and paying tons and tons of money to consultants, something like this, the value added to them could be even more valuable than it is to me, and I find it value added.
Right, absolutely. And so you did mention a lot about your trading back in the 80s. I don't want to say back in the day, it feels kind of wrong to say that, but you've been described as someone that has a stomach like a river, but you think
short. The concentration, this is very counterintuitive. Holding is good enough. He looked at me with great disparity, went into $10. I should make large George
riverboat experience.
Investors of.
Now listen to this one right here. This is like I said, this brother's saying a lot of important stuff. Like I said, he's from the class of the likes of George Soros and a lot of those brothers. So that's the way he's thinking of things. And like I said, he's one of the most profitable guys I had also. So I ain't even got to mention.
Very large reputations. Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, George Soros. They all only have one thing in common. And it's the exact opposite of what they teach in a business school. It's they make large, concentrated bets where they have a lot of conviction. They're not buying 35 or 40 names and diversifying. I don't know whether you remember, Icahn a few years ago put $5 billion into Apple. And I don't think he was worth more than 10 billion when he did that.
Right.
When I went in to tell Soros that I was going to short 100% of the fund in the British pound against the Deutschmark, he looked at me with great disdain because he thought the story was good enough that I should be doing 200%. Because
just listen to the narrative you was able to just hear right there. He says that what Carl Icahn and a Warren Buffett, like I said, I listen to Warren Buffett all the time, so I know exactly what the brother's getting at. He was saying what they teach in the business course, it's completely different from what they do. And like I said, I always tell people this because we'll listen to some people and they'll be like, look what they just said. And I'll be like, yeah, they said that some people not your equal. If you're okay with not being your equal, then okay, they said something, right? So that's what he's saying right here. They're telling you that based on the fact that you don't really know how to invest. You actually don't know what you're looking at. You don't have a lot of information, so they're really trying to help you. So they're saying, yo, kind of broaden your horizon, bro. You said you like that? All right, like the other thing on the opposite side. But he says they do the complete opposite. He said that when he went to George Soros and told him about shorting the Britain pound or whatever the situation was, George looked at him and was like, bro, you said you only shorting it 100%? 200%. Gee, the story you just told me, bro, seemed like you're gonna win for sure. Like, I don't know how you could lose with that story you just told me, bro. But if that's the story and that's the real, nigga, 200%. So he's just trying to show that even with like a brother like Warren Buffett, or he brought up Icon. He was like, yo, Icon, when he invested that $5 million into Apple, I doubt his net worth was anything like over $10 million. So he literally invested half his net worth, bro. So they'll tell you these things about diversify, but he says what they do is they concentrate. It's a concentrated amount of capital into conviction. And he also said the problem, the benefit of doing that is when you got bigger concentration, you have a lot more focus. Instead of it being something where it's laissez-faire, blah, 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 a couple of dollars, couple of 100,000, ain't nothing to me. Right? When it's more concentrated, you're like, I got to make this a right one, right? And that's kind of what he's explaining. And you're not doing that in the sense that you're scared about the play. That's not what he's saying. He's saying like you have so much conviction that you feel me? It's the same risk to reward ratio.
It was sort of a once in a generation opportunity.
Right.
So A, they concentrate their holdings. B, concentration, this is very counterintuitive. It really gets your attention. So it actually, in my thinking, decreases your overall risk. Because where you tend to be in trouble is if you have 35 or 40 names and you stop paying attention to one. If you have big, massive positions, it has your attention.
Right.
So the way my favorite quote of all time maybe is Mark Twain, put all your eggs in one basket and watch the basket carefully.
Right.
I tend to think that's what great investors do. The other thing to me is you got to have to know how and when to take a loss.
Right.
I've been in business since.
Put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket carefully. OG say, yo, I'm telling you, right, there's different ways to rationalize things. And what you always understand with the greats, that they rationalize all the worst situations. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, nigga, you better focus on that basket then. It's like, bro, but what if I don't make it? Well, sure, you don't make it. What do you mean, what if you don't make it? A lot of these boys are immigrants, bro. A lot of these guys are immigrants that be eating this money on. Them boys probably came from far less. What do you mean not make it? Right? We heard the story about Ponzi Mon Dukes and them sending them to America with some money. Yo, blah, do this, do that. Ponzi whole shit was worse coming to worse. I just go back broke. Right? So you just gotta, right? These people are trading or investing. Like I said, George Soros explained that he wasn't that good at math, so he was more so based on the psychology of it, right? So him, because he was talking about the way he learned how to and what he studied, and he was like, "Yo, I studied this, and it was valuable to me because, like I said, I wasn't that good at math." And what he was saying is, science only falsifies the truth. Like science is a falsification of the truth, meaning that if something actually happens, science tell you a false idea of what actually caused it. And I was like, that's a crazy way to think about it. But if you do think about it like that, you say, yo, nobody knows nothing. We're just causing confusion, so let's figure it out. And that's how he kind of invested. Like, yeah, nobody knows nothing. Let's figure it out. Oh, you got a conviction? That's the truth then. Cool. Let's rock with that one. Oh, you don't? That's the story with it? No, hell no. That's a whack ass story. You can't pass that story.
1976 as a money manager. I've never used a stop loss, not once. Dumb.
Since 1976 as a money manager. Not as a fucking trader, just some little shingy dingy wingy dink. As a money manager, I've never set a stop loss, OG saying. It's not saying everybody should do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling you there's different ideas. And like I told y'all on another cast, I was like, yo, follow your narrative. Whoever you listen to, whoever makes sense to you, whoever, because it got to fit into you, to you. Yeah, you as a person, if you a lazy person, if you a busy, whatever you are in life, bro, find traders and people around you that identifies with that way, so you don't seem as if you're doing something crazy. If you smoke herbs, you don't want to be around niggas that do nothing but drink. Hey, man, bro, you can't smoke in here, bro. It's like, damn, bro, you drinking in here, bro? The whole house smell like a beer. Nah, bro, but we don't smoke in here though. Right? And if you get you a friend that smoke, they might be like, yo, nah, bro, you can't be drinking around everybody, bro. Last time they got drunk, he tripping in there, threw up on the, you feel me? Everybody got a narrative. So get, damn, bro, what the flag? I got wiped out. My bad, y'all. I gotta focus on one thing. Cause I can't see the chart, man. When you can't see the charts, they gonna get you.
Screenshot it?
Huh?
Screenshot it?
What you mean? The setup?
No, you said your screenshots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm down bad. I'm down bad. That's like I said, the 30 just flipped. So it's really a 30 ride. So it's a 30 ride. So I ain't tripping, but god damn. And this all started because I wanted to be nice to the folks and not open up a buy all day. And folks, but they can't beat me because I don't change. Me and motherfucking Druckenmiller ain't got no games. Because we ain't doing stop losses. The only thing we doing is trying to sell. So y'all better not put yourself in the back. Listen, because y'all ain't got no downtrends. I mean, no uptrends help y'all. They just fucking help their goddamn self, though, with this 3 minute and 5 minute uptrend. That's how they got us so far. Man. Shout out to y'all with the sneaky deaky. Sneaky deaky. Always stay on market, bro. Right, there's times that the market is just not sexy. Take your profit, run. It ain't even about taking your profit, bro. Like the bro, he's about to explain it right here. You had to click something over there.
Dumbest concept I've ever heard. It goes down 15%. I'm automatically out. But I've also never hang on to a security if the reason I bought it has changed. And that's when you need to sell. If I buy X security for A, B, C, and D reasons, and those no longer are valid, whether I have a loss or a gain, that stock doesn't know whether you have a loss or a gain. It is not important. Your ego is not what this is about. What this is about is you're making money. So if I have a thesis and it doesn't bear out, which happens often with me, I'm often wrong. Just get out and move on. Because I said earlier, if you're using a multi-disciplined approach, you can find something else. There's no reason to hang on to any security where you don't have great conviction in it.
Right. No, absolutely.
The cheaper they look. There's something weird, and I know everybody where they look.
All right, this is the last point because this is actually what's going on right now before we jump into this .com situation.
You just have to be disciplined, and you're constantly fighting your own emotions. look, I'm not going to lie to you. My first boss had this saying, the higher they go, the cheaper they look. There's some.
If that's not one of the craziest things and most valid things I've ever heard said, I don't know what is. The brother said, my first boss said, probably George Soros, I don't know. But the brother looked at him and said, the higher it goes, the cheaper it looks. Once Bitcoin start falling, niggas start looking around like, nah, I ain't trying to grab none right now. What you mean, bro? It's at 30K. T, why would I grab something? It's like, bro, you was just talking about getting in when it was at 70K. Why was that so attractive to you? Right? When it was at 70K, you found some way to make that attractive. But now, at this current price, man, that's a little bit too much. 30K, bro, for one Bitcoin, and it might just fall.
Something weird, and I know everybody watching this has experienced this, and it doesn't make any sense. But when a security goes up, every bone in your body wants to buy more of it, and when it goes down, you're fighting, making yourself not sell it.
Right.
It's just the nature of the beast, and you have to constantly remind yourself why you own that security. And just because it's going down doesn't necessarily mean you should sell it. If it's going down, it definitely means you should reevaluate your thesis, but it doesn't mean you should sell it. And you cannot get crazy when it's going up. One of the, probably the biggest mistake I ever made.
Literally the biggest mistake, and the one thing that you'd always learn where you'd be like, damn, T, so you see it's going up, why are you not getting in? You don't want to make that mistake. That is a bigger, damn, somebody's phone about to ring. Maybe move my phone right from this. That is a bigger mistake than actually putting a stop loss on. Like, you better off putting a stop loss on than making this mistake right here.
Get crazy when it's going up. One of the, probably the biggest mistake I ever made in the business, and I knew better. Somebody asked me what I learned from this. I said, nothing. I already knew it. In January of 2000, after riding that tech boom to a T and making billions of dollars in 99, I sold everything out in January. And I had a couple of internal portfolio managers at Soros who didn't sell out, and they had these, it was a smaller portfolio, but they made 30% after I sold. And I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I'm like watching them make all this money every day. And like for 2 days, I'm like ready to pick up the phone and buy this stuff back. And, you know, there's a little devil there, and then the angel, and she's saying, don't do it. And he's saying, buy it. And I pick up the phone and I buy them. I might have missed the top of the .com bubble by an hour. I ended up losing $3 billion on that trade alone. I had made more the year before, but you know, $3 billion
on a single trade. On a single trade because of FOMO, because you like, damn, da. So I tell you, even right now that Bitcoin doing this weird running, John, I still have a theory or a outlook on trading where it's like confirmed. But I guess when it's confirmed, you have to make a decision. But you know, I guess that's all right. So yeah, that's not even about the system. But exactly what he's explaining is, when something done ran hot or it's done ran, and you see, like, if you heard about it because it's running, it's too late. Yeah, if you watching it and it's at 1% and you see it jump up and you like, yo, this shit look good, you're probably early on it. A lot of people wait earlier. They done called it from the night before. They might just be simply using the pop. You might not even know that. They might just be using the morning boof, and they getting out. So there's different ways to look at it. But he's saying for sure he learned this already way back in the day, just like a lot of us learned this situation probably over the last year. This is why I was saying, is it a crash or a crash course, right? Is it just almost a college course put into like a two week setting where they give you your master at the end of this 2 weeks, nigga? It's like, yo, everything is there. Yeah, you can't learn nothing more after this situation, bro. I guess you can probably go into more of your field personally, but all the overview education to actually be a PhD or be whatever, you already accomplished. That's what I feel like is going on with this crash course, which is even why somebody, like I said, the Spotify owner is saying, yo, it went from 2019 to 2030. Like, it's just a quickening, bro. It's just like, damn, we had no vision of being so, like, bro, we're not even using real people no more. It's fake people walking around, bro. Niggas is in the metaverse right now. People don't even want to be outside no more. They're gone, bro.
$1 billion is a lot of money. And it was all because I got emotional and dropped every tool of discipline I've ever had. And somebody says, well, what did you learn from it? And I just said, I learned nothing. I learned that 25 years ago. So you can talk about not being emotional.
So the tool of discipline will be whatever indicator you got, whatever system you got. Maybe you got a system like us where you say, yo, I need a test. Yo, let me go check the other time frames. Yo, it's a downtrend right here. Let me just wait a little bit. If a pullback comes, I might get in on this one and see how it rock. You feel me? All these things, he already knew it. It was just emotions. And I tell you, what happens is when bad things happen, you have to identify those things. You can't move on from that situation because eventually you're going to forget about the situation. You're going to hold the situation as a trauma and then have the wrong meaning behind it, the wrong connotations behind it. So instead of him being scarred and being like, now I lost 3 billion, he was like, I already learned that, bro. It just shows me again, right? Every time it shows me, I get more conviction in it. Be like, yeah, it's 100% right. I don't even need it. Yeah, it's good. It's already gone, bro. You made 30% more? Damn, that's good. Hey, matter of fact, bro, I'm not coming into the office for the next 3 weeks until it go down. Yeah, I don't even want to talk to you about it because every time I come talk to you, you showing me your portfolio and maybe I'm not that strong. So that's what he's explaining. It's like, yo, you know that you can't be emotional while trading, but we all do it. All of us make us a mistake.
Emotional, but it takes incredible discipline to act on that.
I mean, that's incredible. You said you started in 76, right? And that's 24 years later. You've been going through it for almost a quarter of a century, and it still happened.
Yep.
So it's something I want to just add on to kind of what you just mentioned was the actual approach of investing for yourself. You famously talked about looking at what makes the stock go up and down. What does that mean specifically for yourself? When you say what makes stock up and down, what does that mean in terms of fundamentals?
It varies from stock to stock.
Right.
Interesting thing about Toggle, they'll find things that I didn't even know move the stock.
Right.
But if it happens over and over again, you figure it's not random. So I'll never forget, I keep going back to my boss in Pittsburgh, but I was an analyst and I analyzed retail. And I'd come in with my earnings estimate on Kmart and my earnings estimate on this company and that, and he says, yeah, but what's going to make the stock go up? And I said, what do you mean? And he says, everybody knows what you just told me. Keep looking, keep looking.
You just came in here with all the data that they got on the exchange, bro. I know that. Yeah, they got a good PE ratio. What else? The books look good. The books look good. Yeah, what else? I don't care about none of that, dude. Why is this stock gonna move? I try to tell people that all the time. Like, people don't have no idea why things move. They just show you numbers and they say, yo, look, you know it's going up. It's like, yeah, when is it going up? When is it going down? What makes it go down? Like, do you know any of these things, right? So what he's explaining is super interesting within the trading space because this is a common thing that you will hear motherfuckers use as far as they'll just tell you things. They'll tell you things that maybe they went to school for accounting or something, so they know a lot of accounting terms. So they tell you accounting type terms. Oh, the books are balanced, and this right here, they're in the black, and then you got to look at this right here, and then under the bottom, they're in the white because, yeah, okay, cool. What are you saying? And you saying because they're in the black, they have to go to the white eventually? What are you saying about because they're in the black? I don't know what that means. Yeah, they got enough money to survive. Okay, cool. What does that mean? Do that mean that they're going to go up? Are they going to grow? Like, what do you see? Do you see growth potential right now? That's all I'm asking you. Do you think the stock is going to go up? It got to based on the numbers. The numbers are good, right? And that's not really analyzing anything. You just opened your eyes and then you looked at some shit, right? You didn't analyze anything. Like when they used to show you analyzing, they'll show you like a computer and it'll scan you with a green line up and down a couple of times, and it'll come back with your blood test and how old you is and how much kids you got. And it's like, yeah, that been analyzed you, bro. It ran down all your DNA, all your traits, all these different things. How the hell you say you analyzing stocks and all you brought back was what they had? Oh, you match this up with other stocks and you was like, yo, they got the best PE ratio. You said PE, you said it matter, right? And it's like, yeah, but what you said? And it matters it matters at a different level for different companies. That's why he was saying it varies for why certain companies move. So you can't just use the same word across the board. All companies don't move for that same reason. Some companies don't sell on news. Ain't no, you feel me? You can't buy the news and hopefully people don't show up to the party. This is something just based on the party, right? Some stocks moved on how good was the party. Was the party good? Yo, let's go. I got a little faith in them, right? Some situation you may hear that, yo, it's gonna be a good party. I know people are gonna be there. Let me buy some tickets early. Some things work like that, where the name is so big that everybody just wondering about the party, and you just buy some early tickets. So right there's different approaches with different things. So you can't just look at something simple as the PE ratio or any of these little simple nonsense they have on these stocks that they insight, I guess they say they're giving you. And you know, maybe he's doing an ad for this company. Like I said, I kind of checked them out. They got some good things going on, but you know, there's good things going on everywhere.
Finally, I came back. I found out at the time, by the way, this has changed since then. If you graphed the change in food and energy prices over top the retail index, it was like clockwork. Retail and food prices, food and energy prices go up, retail relative stocks go down. It's not rocket science here. If you take discretionary spending and you increase the cost of it, she's got less money to buy a dress. And I watched that, and it worked for 10 or 12 years, and then for some reason it stopped working. But there's an analysis of fundamentals, which I completely...
Shout out to my brother Druckenmiller. Like I said, Druckenmiller, he's a legend as far as he's institutional, been traded since 1976. So some of the new little tricks that muggers like us using and stuff like that, he don't know it. Which is why he's impressed with a lot of the stuff he's seeing from the retailers. He spoke about Black Wall Street, and he said he like the direction that things are going, and right, just being more focused on reality, right? Not just out here just misleading people. Because if we could really do that same situation where we get like a hedge fund type of vibe, like I'm always saying, that where we come together, or even if y'all want to say family, a family office. And we come together and we put that capital here and we direct the capital one way. That's how we start playing the institutional game, right? That's how people was able to make a little noise in 2021 and 2020 type situation where they was like, yo, we just going big on this. Fuck them. Let's all get it. You feel me? You feel me? Those things work. But even when I was telling you earlier about my brother saying something to the effect of, they trying to trick us, we should buy more instead. I said, yo, we have to be very careful, because this happened with the .com boom where people probably thought they was getting tricked, and they said, yo, let me buy more. Fuck them, I'm doubling down. And like I said, those things never came back. You just bought down again. You just bought for no reason. You just gave somebody some more money for no reason. Right. So you just got to keep things within context and keep things within narrative.
Endorse, where look at the balance sheet, try and figure out a couple years from now what people are going to think about this company. Are the earnings going to be different than they think now? That kind of stuff. But then there's all the weird stuff, like I just mentioned. The beauty of Toggle is it comes up with stuff that sometimes I don't even quite understand. But frankly, I don't care. If the stuff works,
right,
I'm going to go with it. I'm very open-minded. I don't.
And that was the key right here. Like I said, we really don't have to hear nothing else from the brother Druckenmiller, but that was the key right there that I wanted out of here. If it works, I don't care if I understand it. No, I'm not in the game of understanding everything, which is why you're here, which is why I went to your software. If I understood everything, I would just use my software the whole time. I don't understand everything. So you say you got a software that do what? And how you say it work? You say when it go above this number, then something means something? Okay. Oh, that's crazy. And you said it can't stay above that number? Oh, that's okay. Huh. All right, cool. Oh, yeah, cool. All right, I got you.
Need.
So, yeah, Empress, you can go to the...
I don't need to totally understand something if I've seen it work over and over again.
Right, absolutely.
But
So,
most of these things I understand.
yeah. So they'd be the equivalent of Toggle finding that relationship you just mentioned, right? The food energy and
Get a note.
yeah, and have the opportunity to.
Years ago, I said more than once, crypto and Bitcoin are a solution in search of a problem.
Right.
So what the hell are these people all looking for? We already have that. It's called the dollar.
Right.
Okay. So for the first move in Bitcoin, I think it went from what, $50 to 17,000. I just sat there aghast. And by the way, consistent with our earlier conversation, I wanted to buy it every day it was going up, even though I didn't think much of it. I just couldn't stand the fact that it was going up, and I didn't own it.
And I just relevance, Empress, because I'm not sure if you heard this, but the first thing he threw a jab at Dogecoin, and he's gonna do it again, right? People look at that as a shot, but I look at this as crazy. This is an institutional investor.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why he's upset when something like, he's not gonna talk about Ethereum and none of this stuff. These niggas, they're serious. They're trying to own things for real utility, and I'm gonna explain that in a little bit. The reason why you'll get mad when something like Bitcoin go up, because it makes sense. The reason why people don't really trip out by Dogecoin go up, you'll be more like, damn, why could I ate on them? That's the only way you think about with Dogecoin, because it don't make any sense. But every time you see Bitcoin go up, it's like, damn, it made sense the first time they told me about it. And now it's at 17,000. It still makes sense, but I still don't want it. It's too late. You start thinking that, then you see it go from that to 6,000. And I say, damn, am I too late? Just listen to the story. But what's your thoughts on that? Just the way he's setting the idea up, though. When he's speaking about Dogecoin. First of all, the fact that he's bringing up Dogecoin every 2 seconds. Like, what's your thoughts of hearing somebody institutional? Because I know you never really heard of Druckenmiller, but what's your thoughts about what the brother's saying? Like, have you been picking anything up? Do you have any thoughts about anything?
At this moment, I'm really just kind of soaking everything in.
All right.
So, fast forward, I never owned it from like $50 to 17,000. Felt like a moron. Then it goes back down to 3,000 again, and then a couple things happen, and this is consistent with the fundamental, and then what makes something go up or down. So, solution in search of a problem. I found the problem when we did the CARES Act, and Chairman Powell started crossing all sorts of red lines in terms of what the Fed would do and wouldn't do. The problem was Jay Powell and the world central bankers going nuts and making fiat money even more questionable than it had already been when I used to own gold. Then the second thing that happened is I got a call from Paul Jones. And he says to me, do you know that when Bitcoin went from 17,000 to 3,000, 86% of the people that owned it at 17,000 never sold it? Well, this was huge in my mind.
Right.
Here's something with a finite supply. 86% of the owners are religious zealots. I mean, who the hell holds something through 17,000 to 3,000? And it turns out none of them, 86% of the people never sold it. And I had this new central bank craziness phenomena. The other thing that happened, it had been, it had a few more years under its belt. So it goes up to 6,000 in the middle of the last spring. And I go, well, I got to buy some of this just because these kids on the West Coast that are already worth more than I am, and they're going to be making a lot more money than me in the future. For some reason, they're looking at this thing the way I've always looked at gold. which is store of value if I don't trust fiat currencies. And then the thing that Paul told me, and then the fact that it had been around 13 years, it had become a brand.
Right.
So it's funny, I tried to buy 100 million at 6,200.
This is like, y'all don't get the game that's being played here. Did you hear that?
What you mean?
Niggas don't even have 62 million Satoshis. He tried to buy 62 million Bitcoins at 6,200. Telling you, the game that's being played here is completely different. Once the brother explained to him about the 86% not selling, he's like, yo, these niggas are zealots. Cool. I know about zealots. I know about a nigga like Nipsey being overzealous about the Most High. I know about a nigga like this being overzealous about the truth. I've seen overzealous people before. I like zealots. Cool. What else? Fuck, what are you telling me? It's a finite supply? Nah. It's kind of like gold in a sense then, because gold is a finite supply in a sense. Because we could probably strike for more gold, but we haven't struck for more gold in a little minute. So we might not be striking for more gold really and truly. So nevertheless, our brother tell me that there's only 21 million made. I say, God damn. I need to own at least 2% of the supply. Can I buy 6.2 million of them?
It took me 2 weeks to buy 20 million. I bought it all around 6,500, I think. And I said, this is ridiculous. You know, it takes me 2 weeks. I can buy that much gold in 2 seconds. So like an idiot, I stopped buying it. Next thing I knew, the thing's trading at 36,000. I took my costs and then some out of it. And I still own some of it. My heart's never been in it. I'm a 68-year-old dinosaur. But once it started moving and these institutions started adopting it, I could see the old elephant trying to get through the keyhole and they can't fit through in time. I own this company called Palantir, and I see they announced with their earnings today they're going to start accepting Bitcoin and they may invest it. That's happening all over the place. And you know, this thing is never going to have more than 21 million. It's over the place. You can see the old elephant trying to get through the keyhole and they can't fit through in time. I own this.
So what he was explaining is by this time he sees the institutionals getting in. But he's been in. So he said he looking at these niggas, the elephants trying to fit through the keyhole. He can't get in this time. He shooed, right?
This company called Palantir, and I see they announced with their earnings today they're going to start accepting Bitcoin and they may invest it. That's happening all over the place. And you know, this thing is never going to have more than 21 million. It's a fixed supply. So I think because it's a brand, it's been around for 14 years, because of the finite supply, it has sort of won the store of value game. Is it going to beat gold? I don't know. It sure as hell doing a good imitation of it the last year or two. But is it going to beat the other cryptos in terms of digital gold store of value? I would say it's going to be very, very tough to unseat. Then you go to what I call the commerce facilitators, which obviously the lead in smart contracts and that kind of stuff would be Ethereum. There, I'm a little more skeptical of whether they can hold their position. It reminds me a little of MySpace before Facebook came along, or maybe a better analogy, Yahoo before Google came along.
Right.
Google wasn't that much faster than Yahoo.
Yo, Yahoo was the only game in town at one point. I remember, like, I didn't really even hear niggas saying, yo, I'm gotta Google that real quick. It's like, yo, I'm about to Yahoo that shit. I don't even know.
No, I think it was Bing, right?
No, Bing came later, but I'm just saying, like, the first one, like, when I first came to even America, Like our first little John that I remember seeing was Yahoo.
Okay.
Right. And then Google, like I said, Yahoo and Google was around at the same time. But then Bing and all those guys started coming out later. Bing was the answer niggas. It's like, yo, you had a question, Bing. They would answer, right? So that was
Wasn't there Axe.com or Axe GVs or something?
Axe was definitely out. Axe was out early. Axe, see, look, you going down the rabbit hole of Axe. Well, yeah, whenever you ready, I'm ready. But the brother's explaining right now about MySpace and Facebook. And he's saying about things like Ethereum, right? He's saying I can't say like to unseat Bitcoin, bro, you're gonna do a lot of different shit. You're gonna have to first of all be a finite supply. You're gonna have to be a brand. I don't know, bro. You gonna have to do a lot of stuff to unseat Bitcoin. But something like an Ethereum or Solana, all these guys, you got to think about it. It's a free-for-all. We all do about everything by the same amount of goodness. And matter of fact, because you was early, I kind of adopted this a little better. The store value is completely different from commerce and stuff like that, right? Commerce is a little more, you looking for speed, you looking for security, a lot of that stuff. And over time, you can get better at that. What we about to jump into in a little bit after Empress do this story right here is you got to think about it. One of the first browsers, the first browser that motherfuckers know about that had this whole internet jumping was Mosaic. Mosaic was simply something that like a professor used. A university professor used something like Mosaic. A bunch of nerds are using something like Mosaic, right? And they're sending emails back and forth, little JPEGs and things like that. I don't even know if they called them JPEGs back then. Goddamn what they was sending. So Mosaic was one of the first guys that even made that possible, which was like the start of the .com boom, right? But you got to think about it. Mosaic was out 93. I want to say 93. Mosaic was about 93. But yeah, I'm ready for you because damn, that been blowing back up.
Okay.
Yeah, Mosaic was 93.
IMF urges El Salvador to end Bitcoin's legal tender status as the crypto loses half of its value since November. The International Monetary Fund's executive board urges El Salvador to narrow the scope of its Bitcoin law by terminating the cryptocurrency's legal tender. The International Executive Board. Oh my gosh, why do they do that?
Do all these extras.
Yeah, the subheads and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they try to. This how far a lot of people read, right?
Oh, so they want everything
Bait
in
you
there.
in. Alrighty. Board directors highlighted the risk of Bitcoin adoption in El Salvador, which took up Bitcoin as a legal tender in September on its financial stability, financial integrity, consumer protection, and the associated physical contingent liabilities, according to a Tuesday report that evaluates El Salvador's economy. The IMF stressed the importance of El Salvador of providing strict regulation and oversight for the new ecosystem containing Bitcoin and the country's Chivo wallet, a government-backed crypto wallet that helps facilitate Bitcoin transactions. However, they also highlighted that Chivo wallet's potential role in boosting financial inclusion.
Yeah, they like. Why do they highlight that? Oh, I guess they highlighted it and say, "Yo, there's some goods about it. There's some goods about it." That's the only thing that'll be highlighting.
Yeah. Okay. El Salvador holds more than 1,500 Bitcoin and plans to issue a $1 billion 10-year bond backed by Bitcoin this year. Bitcoin is recently trading at around 36,959, almost half of its record high of 68,990. In face of the Bitcoin price downturn, El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, who pushed forward the country's Bitcoin adoption, briefly changed his Twitter profile on Monday to that of the McDonald's employee in reference to an internet meme where crypto hodlers indicate their future career prospects when Bitcoin plunges. McDonald's pays as low as $11 per hour. That is the conclusion of that article.
Right. So that was just a little small, John. I was telling Empress it's going to be real small. And right after that, we got a little small video also, just so we can jump back. Like I said, we're about to jump back, but at full speed ahead right now to the goal of what we set out to do. We want to accomplish this situation. I want to really figure out, is this, like I said, some similarities is the lowest interest rate. It was super low interest rates around that time, and the bubbles popped too. Also, right now, it was super low interest rates. They're trying to raise them. How you say that, Empress? I know you
Raise.
Oh, they're gonna raise them. Fuck up. So now this is my brother right here, Drunken. Like, I like his name, Druckenmiller. Like, I seem like I'll put him in like a karate movie or something. My next fighter is Druckenmiller.
Spending another $3+ trillion is going to cause so much inflation that it will hurt more than it helps. Can you explain that?
Sure, Stephanie. Thanks for having me on. I need to back up a little bit. If you go back to the spring of 2020, in the middle of the worst part of the pandemic, the economy was in a black hole, probably the most uncertain period I've ever seen in my lifetime. And Congress probably did the best you could ever see of government, which is they spent $2.3 trillion in response to that, because none of us knew where we were headed. It could be the Great Depression, it could have been anything. Thankfully, fast forward 5 or 6 months, and we did not have a Great Depression. It turns out we had the sharpest V recovery in history. In fact, the government confirmed, I think it was yesterday, that the recession is over and ended last summer. By early fall, retail sales, the 30-year trend in retail sales was actually above trend. This took like 5 or 6 months. In the Great Depression, it took over 10 years. In the Great Financial Crisis, post the housing bubble, it took 5 years. So this turned out to be a very different animal than the kind of economic periods we're talking about. The best way I could draw an analog for you is think of a health crisis, think of a heart attack. And if you have a heart attack, if you get the stent in time, the stent in this case being the congressional action and the vaccine, you can go on with your life and no further treatment is required. That's exactly what we had. We did not have what we had in terms of the Depression or the Great Financial Crisis, which I would say is more like cancer. That's a long-term problem which requires long-term spending and long-term interventions. If you look at the current situation, after retail sales in the economy were back to trend, afterward, 575 of the 850 billion on transfer payments has been spent. Over half the 5.2 trillion we spent on COVID, again, has been after the economic crisis was already over. The irony is probably the worst economic declines we've had the last 100 years are post-asset bubbles like the Great Depression, the Great Financial Crisis. The other big economic problem we've had the last 100 years was the inflation of the 1970s. It was a pretty much awful period, particularly for the poor and the middle class, because as you know, inflation is a tax the poor just can't afford, nor can they avoid it. I have to say the irony of, because this is well-intentioned spending you mentioned, and I think it's to fix the problem, frankly, that does not exist anymore. Given what I just said, if I was Darth Vader and I wanted to destroy the US economy, I would actually do aggressive spending in the middle of an already hot economy, which is exactly what we have. The reason is that creates two things. Yep. I'm sorry.
But
That
what
creates two
exactly are the
things.
policies? Yes?
Two things. Number one, you usually get a bubble out of that. And number two, you could get inflation out of that. Frankly, we have both. This is the biggest bubble I've ever seen in my career. We have crypto craze, we have SPACs, we have booming housing prices, we have these things called NFTs, and equity prices as a percent of GDP are an all-time high. And as you also know, inflation is literally at a 30-year high. What are we going to get out of this? And again, it's well-intentioned spending. In my opinion, you're going to get a sugar high for 3 to 6 months. Then you're probably going to get continuation of inflation and then an economic bust. And when you get an economic bust,
okay, but
just
Stan,
like after the... Yeah.
But Stan, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, SPACs, if that blows up, that's a problem for the rich.
Yo, when she said that, bro, I almost fell off my seat top. Like, I wish I was Humpty Dumpty and I had a great fall. She said, yo, I agree with you, ma'am. Have you been paying attention to the actual NFT craze? I know what you're saying, but these motherfuckers, I don't know, bro. Maybe you're right, man. Maybe you got a little insight on it. Right, but Empress, we have spoke to people and they say, yo, you know, I did a little investment. I bought me a little shit, a little Doge here and there. It's like, what you did some investments?
That's a problem of the rich. What is rich?
Yeah,
10,000 a year.
I mean, hold on. Why would the rich have a problem? So the rich got a problem and we don't got a problem. So the rich is about to be getting taxed and they're gonna be like, nah, you know, we can't tax them though.
The rich got to be the new poor.
Yo. I was like, what point was she trying to make there? Was she just trying to sting him? Like, bro, I know you're a rich guy. Don't talk to me like that. Or maybe she was just trying to push him like Empress doing this cast, right? Where you try to get more out of the speaker. You like, yo, let me see what you're going to say. So listen what Druckenmiller got to say.
Well, what this infrastructure plan is trying to do is help the poor, roads, bridges, Wi-Fi in rural areas. I mean, expanded child tax credit, free pre-K. This is going to help people who are struggling. Asset bubbles and cryptocurrencies don't mean anything to them. Let that blow up.
Okay, first of all, it's not just the rich this time. This is the first retail participation in this kind of nonsense that has happened in my career. But let's take that aside. It's not the cryptocurrencies blowing up that are going to hurt the poor people. It's that asset bubbles bursting inevitably lead to large economic decline.
And look, that's the main thing I want to say, ma'am. When you think of like you're talking about the cryptocurrency John blowing up, do you understand? It's first of all, Bitcoin is the highest performing asset in the last decade. G.
All she knows is a homeless nigga don't know about no damn NFTs.
I'm telling
that's why he's homeless, sis.
And I'm telling you, the next nigga's gonna be homeless. The niggas that had the NFTs, they homeless next because
they talking about sign up for McDonald's. They gonna have to sign up for the fucking homeless shelter.
You feel me? The homeless niggas is the niggas that was in LA that bought the NFTs, and now the NFTs worthless, so now they worthless. So now they got to be on the street. But the next level that goes up is the niggas that was selling the NFTs, because now they don't really have nothing to actually sell. This whole time they've been selling you air, and now we don't want that shit no more. We like, nah. Like people, bro, I'm telling you, bro, people will forego shopping if things get too serious. And right now, they haven't foregone shopping. I'm telling you, we haven't even seen the worst of the crash. If y'all think some shit happened, y'all don't understand anything. So right now,
no, they did an amazing job stimulating the sheeples.
Man, but Empress, they said 2019 after Powell did that shit, Trump looked at him and was like, bro. After that day, him and Trump was just neck to neck. Druckenmiller, the legendary investor, saying, yo, we 3 years overdue of a crash. When the fuck was the crash? 2019 then. So what happened? They kicked the motherfucking can down the road. And now we got Biden, man, in there. And what do you think he gonna blame it on? Man, I try to help the people.
Patsy.
I try to help the people.
Patsy. Yeah, this lady literally, if you are informed, you're rich to her. No, it's power, I guess. But yeah, she's like, bro, if you even know about it, you're rich. She literally just said, that's the problem for the rich. No.
Let it blow up. I don't care about none of that.
Bro, it cannot be a homeless man can't even know how a computer works.
She middle class though. I think middle class people middle class own about 90+% of the stock. Mm-hmm. That's how they middle class. They stock owners. So now the smaller guys, the poor people, technically, a bunch of rednecks and a bunch of these white boys that was supposed to be nothing.
Rural areas.
They done went and bought the crypto. They the ones that's up. So that's why she's saying, yo, it don't mean that to us, because she's talking about the middle class. You know, the middle class is getting decimated.
The middle class waiting for the right time to do all their research and make sure it's this, and they buying in at the top.
Right, because because the retailers jumping in, and a nigga like Druckenmiller just coming in late and saying, yo, you know what? Let me get 62 million on. Oh, I can't get 62 million. All right, let me get 21 million. It said, bro said it took him 2 weeks. We never bought 21 million Bitcoin, so we don't even know if he's telling the truth. Cause I was about to say, what exchange OG using? But like, what exchange would allow him to just come in and just buy up 21 million Bitcoin? Because how much Bitcoin does that exchange even own?
So wait, he tried to buy 62 and there's only 21?
He tried to buy, 6.2.
Oh, okay.
6.2. Hold on. 21.
I thought he was trying to buy the whole supply just now. I'm like, he can't do that because they're not even mine.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So it was
mine and get rigged.
6.2 million he wanted to buy.
Okay.
And he ended up buying 2.1 million. And it took him 2 weeks.
Just to get 2.1?
Yeah.
Like, why?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. We never bought 2.1 million Bitcoin. We never even bought 1 million Bitcoins.
Nigga, nobody even owns over 1 million.
You should. Why not?
We looked at the holders and
but you gotta think about it.
Was 300K, like.
Just it.
Yeah. There's nobody in the middle.
Because I was about to say, even if they had a million Bitcoin, though, it still wouldn't be. It wouldn't be 2%. I mean, it wouldn't be more than 2-3%. It's still not that crazy.
2
to 3% at the most. So it's still not that crazy.
It's not that crazy, bro. But I haven't seen. I don't know, bro. I've never seen own Bitcoin. I've never seen anyone with 1 million. So I'm trying to figure out his breast dividing his wallets up.
Yeah, he said he was like, I'm about to buy 2.1 million or some shit.
I'm gonna finish this.
Yes, ma'am.
Declines. It's the economic decline that's going to hurt the poor. Everything you just mentioned sounds great, and if you can pay for it without hurting the economy, I'm all for it. But frankly, there's a lot of things going on. Take pre-K. All right, pre-K. I wish Harlem Children's Zone could do the whole country because they do it with great efficiency. Unfortunately, that's not the case. To scale it, we need government, and I'm okay with a program like that. But take, for example, me. I'm getting Social Security payments. I'm pretty wealthy. All right. I don't need those payments. There's a lot of other ways to pay for this and cut that out. Do we really think my Social Security payments are priority? Because if we don't think they're a priority, let's cut them. And there are a lot of other examples. And then if you want to add stuff, but right now, further spending in aggregate, in my opinion, is going to cause a financial crisis. It's going to cause inflation, and nothing is going to hurt the poor more than that. And by the way, if it does, every dollar we're spending now that, in my opinion, we don't desperately need is not going to be available in a future crisis, whether it's another pandemic or an economic decline that is hurting the poor and the middle class.
Well, absolutely nobody wants that, but conventional wisdom is often more money is good for those who need it most. You're saying that's not the case. So how did Joe Manchin and the other senators react when you made this case?
I think they were very thoughtful. I don't know how much I moved the needle or didn't move the needle, but we had a very nice, frank discussion. And frankly, they asked great questions and they seemed very interested in my points. I think, frankly, my track record probably made an impression on them too.
So the takeaway, you are all for a hard infrastructure deal. You don't like that. What is the prescription you're saying we need to do?
Well, I don't think we need to do anything. I think we need to take a step back, take a deep breath, and see where we are. We have a very hot economy and very hot inflation, and any net spending, in my opinion, is a problem. I realize that's not realistic. So yes, I love a lot of stuff in the infrastructure plan, particularly the investments in the digital infrastructure, because we have a big digital divide. So rural areas and poor kids have the same access to it as upper class kids. There's a lot of stuff in there I'm okay with. But again, there's a lot of other spending going on, particularly in entitlements, that to me are less of a priority. And we just can't let the net spending go up any more than it is currently, because it's going to lead to, hopefully I'm wrong, I don't have a crystal ball, to dire consequences.
Right, we just gotta hope Druckenmiller is wrong, because like I said, man, just listening to the narrative and just it's weird, because some of these in this bill actually make some sense, where it's like, hey, give them that, hell yeah, them privilege, blah blah blah, put them here, whatever, blah blah. But then it's like, at what cost? Are we able to do it at a more efficient cost, that it makes sense, that we don't have to put a big burden? Because like, we think this money is free, or it means anything. What happens is it's the next generation and the next generation, and then you got to think about that, because like the people before, they worked a certain amount, occurred a certain amount, and then niggas slashed that in half, and so they got to go back and do another half to have that revisited, because look, it's a social security program, so we have to be able to take care of the old and technically the young, right? So the system is going to continuously work in that way, where it's churning out this inflation situation. Like, inflation is normal, they usually use it to balance everything back out, but you have to stay within bounds, and they just let this situation go on far too long. And now they seeing it. Oh my God, Rolly, I got you on the screen, bro. My brother Rolly on the screen, man. I miss you. Little screen. What with the Rolly? I don't know what I just pressed, bro. I don't know what I'm pressing right now, bro. I'm just got this dark screen.
I play jumper while these little niggas on the bleachers out on pizza. Could've been down with the secret, but you couldn't breathe cause you a leaker. Ayy, FIFA wouldn't even kick it with a lot of flaw shit, nigga, get the picture. Young nigga just a boss, so I get hated on by my own niggas. Back to the base, surrender from death, you can't escape it. Back to when them little niggas were fed up and took over slations. No, they just wanna kill me cause I ain't weak, ain't scared to say shit. I sound too damn crazy to appeal, so I ain't bracing. Look, it's time to let go, I might gas the ass up, feed whole tank and talking petrol. Leaving that little dust up in the wind, I ain't from the ghetto. They got people out here really murdering each other by some retros. Good shit from the ground up. Yeah, I'm just trying to fight the power that beat, had to switch the sound up. Too crazy, give him a straight jack, I don't dance to a nigga music. I don't live to make a nigga face happy, I live to feed my family, my little brothers, them niggas stay scrappy. You lost self to the money, bitch, you's a pole victim. Cause you ain't get exposed to them cold missives. Mass serving peas, them shit with no limits. Shot yourself in the head, what you expect to get your soul lifted. Pay self on the road, nigga, the goal is living. Say, Roller, you so gifted. You got no intention to compete with niggas, you on your own pivot. Don't erase yourself to the grave or get a load of sentence. Fucking sneak this with or without mentions. Worry about another feeling, bitch, I created my own pot to piss in. Ay, 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 what the hell you gonna do on this day? Ay, ay, looking like they tryna kill you anyway. Ay, ay, said a lot of shit done soaked in, showing no emotions, but I'm finna kick this go in. Nigga gon' turn me up. Jit in 6th grade, breaking the cars, little nigga burning up. That's fights, little nigga run it up, pump it up. For all y'all niggas care, you could've been eating out the dumpster truck. I'm coming up. Hey, see, life is what you make it, demolish your ties to all the fake shit. Little nigga had a heat and still got robbed, his dog got facelift. That lifted said he had a chance to make it, hear dead silence. Hey, grind to the funeral, you just a kid seeing all this gun violence. You keep a Glock cause ain't no rules of fighting. You was the youngest on the block, now all your elders dying. You forced to live all the knowledge that the streets supplying. But fuck Fuck niggas turn to snitch, look what the streets provided. Hard of a line, but you still getting tripped by the stop signs. Why I got hoes lying on my dick, bitch, I'm on top now. Had a no deed off them spirits, I walk with God now. Bitch, I'm the man of my city, little nigga, sit down. Grew up with no father, father died, still had a buried father. Teacher said I'd never be worth a dime, I pushed a little harder. Got a young nigga tired of them birds like my last name Carter. Got him doing raw side that hurts, know I'm becoming a problem. Ay, 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 what the hell you gonna do on this day? Ay, ay, looking like they tryna kill you anyway. Ay, ay, said a lot of shit done soaked in, so no emotion. But I'm finna kick this dope in. Nigga gon' turn me up, shit in 6th grade, breaking the cars, little nigga burning up, that's spice, little nigga run it up, pump it up. For all y'all niggas care, you could've been eating out the dust truck, I'm coming up.
Nice construction, the real is the future for your kids. Monkeys gon' keep wearing a nigga down, but I maintain the bill. That baby girl got killed in the crossfire, now they got hella business. Oh, just putting prices on niggas' head cause they done destroyed the crib. Mama's out here crying cause the niggas down, we ain't got a chance to live. Learn to face the enemy cause they envy hook you like a fish. Put your trust in your brother, the whole shit down, that fuck nigga switch. Gotta get these little niggas up out them bricks.
Bitch, I ain't from the dark side of the fire where them killers vibe. Kids got it with guidance, don't know how to finish side. Buck for the tears for them niggas stuck in the system. Nobody hear them crying out the guard behind them walls, just trying to feed a child. I lost my nigga to that island, I went running wild. You lose a nigga in your face till the lead traumatized. Ain't no replacing all them times God just saved your life. But you can replace all them lies with the truth and help you survive.
Went from a stolen to a scarlet, jumped in the bins, now that a nigga heartless. Tagged in the reality, near hurts, but he emerged from darkness. Complain about the cars that you was dealt, but you ain't lit a horse. Niggas wanna go to town to leave their mama renting apartments, I can't fuck with that. Kill the nigga you knew cause a fuck nigga paid you a couple rats. Kids killed in the mix every other day, we burning candle wax. You stand against your brother, but you ain't gon' stand against no cracker jack. Put a knife in a nigga's hand, doing 180, he gon' stab you back. A fool gon' be a fool until he turn the card. Live buddy just 14, trying to survive, he out here selling hard. Stick you under the highway bridge and raw sell dope ball. Niggas always get treated like the underdog. You was a victim for free labor, now you a victim to a crooked system. Nigga wanted to spread a little truth, see now they out to get him. Shout out to my mama, we was struggling with no pot to piss. I commit a nigga would've made it out of addition. You a real
bitch, I ain't from the dark side of the fire where them killers vibe. Kids got it with guidance, don't know how to finish side. Buck for the tears for them niggas stuck in the system. Nobody hear them crying out the God behind them walls, just trying to feed a child. I lost my nigga to that island, I went running wild. You lose a nigga in your face till the lead traumatized. Ain't no replacing all them times God just saved your life. But you can replace all them lies with the truth and help you survive. A real one.
Blood of a slave, heart of a king, I need my crown, boy. Came up from the dirty dreads, singing like a rude boy. And the guilt is more than Paris, better cherish how I move. Or this fool, pay some dues, but like the man on the move. Never been fed with silver spoons. Can't say to touch the sky, say I bet I touch the moon. One be hot as summer dew. Say I believe that I can fly this minute paper, tell my truth. Got on my ground, I changed my roof. Only gon' meet me on this roof. Watch me take it to the top, my nigga. Watch me keep my faith in God, my nigga. Ain't no way that I'm a star, my nigga. Fussing if he got around them niggas. Hard dog is restless nights. You see my daughter change my life. My heart got dark like sharp and mark. Then on my chin like Rosa Paul. You know I had to make my mark. You know we had to give our all.
Bitch, I ain't from the dark side of the fire where them killers vibe. Kids got it with guidance, don't know how to finish side. Buck for the tears for them niggas stuck in the system. Nobody hear them crying out the God behind them walls, just trying to feed a child. I lost my nigga to that island, I went running wild. You lose a nigga in your face till the lead traumatized. Ain't no replacing all them times God just saved your life. But you can replace all them lies with the truth and help you survive. A real one. I play jumper while these little niggas on the bleachers, I done peach it. Could've been down with the secret, but you couldn't breathe cause you a leaker. Ayy, FIFA wouldn't even kick it with a lot of flaw shit, nigga, get the picture. Young nigga just a boss, so I get hated on by my own niggas. Back to the base, surrender from death, you can't escape it. Back to when them little niggas were fed up and took over slave shit. No, they just wanna kill me cause I ain't weak, ain't scared to say shit. I sound too damn crazy to appeal, so I ain't
storm. Swear that roller game shit prove we was gon' bet them off. I might do you wrong. Hey, I got some shit invested, nigga, money long. Nigga, that bag's supposed to hit you free day one. It was a whole lot of love you should've let go. Knock your head off short just to see how far you hit. You been trapped up in the band, dog, barking on your dogs to see no light when the water's just new life.
That love in the bottom will get you tagged up like a cattle, little nigga. That love in the bottom cause you the task cut in the battle. Got your sat mud, no apologies. The love in the bottom will get your bad rub in them chops. We really in them church, we don't give a fuck about no philosophy. The realest niggas in it, my niggas scope for them casualties. I ain't run with a whole lot of little killers, you can't fuck with me. I done fed both sides of the O, so they look up to me. Bless my niggas heavily, we on one. Me and white little bitch giving out pussy like she on something. Don't never contemplate by the critic, I ain't for the long run. Cause we getting money on purpose. Every time we pull out, niggas get nervous. Ain't worried about these bitches, I'm just trying to keep my focus on them digits. Ain't no nigga cut gon' run it over nigga like anything. A young nigga out here ducking cases. I know what to do with them big faces. Call me a big bag, bum, get you shit bag, the slump. Put the pin down and let the clip have fun. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. Call me the big bag, bum, get you shit bag, the slump. Put the pin down and let the clip have fun. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. Niggas that new edition, Ash Pat Roller, it's that upset move swift, but you ain't dead yet. Talk about money, them niggas fold like fuck the subject. They would've told on you, sent your ass to the feds, that why the bread left. Bitch, I keep pushing for that oil like I'm a roughneck. Bitch, I keep pushing for that oil like I'm a roughneck. You can't see the money from my vantage point. Why would you go get it? Ain't about what you want. Never trust in a bitch cause I've been damaged once. Made a couple moves, I let the boat sail. Told a couple folk tell. Now I shouted loving how the dope smells. You can't listen to the blues, don't let your host dwell. Colder than the killer, well, nigga falling like he Odell. Thought the shit was sweet until the 56 bent the corner. Flying shells, smoke around her. Nigga ran, left you lonely. Ran down, you were gonna. Nigga keep on advertising the guns, but ain't spread money. Fuck niggas keep thinking this shit sweet, bitch. Nigga run up on me. Big bag, bro, get your shit bag, this up. Put the pin down and let the clip have fun. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. Call me the big bag, bum, get you shit bag, this up. Put the pin down and let the clip have fun. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum. 23 shots of Mr. Bulls with the rum.
23 shots. 23 shots. 23 shots. Me have 23 shots. Me have 23 shots. Them said the boy mixed the bull.
Excuse me.
23 shots, Mr. Bull. Brother, man.
Did we finished the video already, right?
For sure. What video that is? Druckenmiller.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. So now we're gonna do a small deep dive. Small deep dive
into Mosaic.
Or didn't move the needle, but
Mosaic. Yes, ma'am.
we had a very nice Frank Discretion.
And I got one more thing for you
Before Mosaic.
Yeah, because, and like I said, it's not really important. It's just a little small little joke.
There?
I'm not in there. Somebody was like, what's something we can do for Black History Month? I said, get some real investments on some type of education to move us forward. Okay. That don't even sound practical. It don't sound like I'm saying nothing.
I think we should just address everything that's not common knowledge, like the symbolism and the mechanism behind gold and the meaning behind it. What other interesting things? The Gully Geechee people, I think, should be addressed. Who they were, who they are still to this day. Yeah, I think we should start going into the French spaces. the actual 1804 freedom fight.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was saying, but as far as to even have those luxury to be worrying about nonsense, serious things like that, you can't have nonsense taking you over, meaning you can't have day-to-days that's over you, meaning that people got jobs. They say, yo, I can't talk like that, bro. Say, go fire me, bro. They watch me. Yo, I can't move like that. No, I can't do that. Right? So I'm saying that we have to worry about
immediate
garnishing wages. We need to garnish wages for somebody. Like, we need to think about how we can get accounts receivable. We need to think about like different things like that. That's why I was saying I want to get like that type of level or something, like some type of class or something.
So you're saying you're past the knowledge of self. We should be well acquainted. Now it's a matter of applying.
No. I told you, even on this cast right here is strictly about currency, right? And we're explaining different things on different levels. That's what it's supposed to be about. So yeah, you're gonna bring in a Denmark VC. Yeah, you're gonna bring in a Marcus Garvey. You're gonna bring in these different people. You could bring in the Marcus Garvey. Talk about the Black Star Line. Yo, Black Marcus Garvey. Blah blah blah. He made a deal with these guys. Blah blah blah. He had to pay this much. You feel like this is a good deal. You feel like, you feel me? Just all those type of things. We can bring that up in the relevancy of it. But just to be in there telling niggas about the past type situation, I don't know the effectiveness of it, right? I don't know if it'll move us from point A to point B.
Nah, it's not a matter of telling them about the past. It's just kind of giving them knowledge of who they were, what they've done, and what they've always done. Because I was talking to a group of students today about Wall Street, and particularly Black Wall Street, and they were dumbfounded. They were like, what? A whole bunch of Black people had what going? Nah. And then I had to tell them, like, yeah, just Google the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, and it kind of explains for the majority what actually happened and why it happened. And it was one of the first domestic terrorist attacks.
And look, we got to also keep in context, right? Because Black Wall Street is conceptual, right? So I never give names when I speak on it, right? Or when I do, I always run down a list of names where I say, yo, shit like Durham, North Carolina, Roseville, Florida, East St. Louis. You feel me? Because Black Wall Street wasn't Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I emphasized on that. I was like, there was many Black Wall Streets, but particularly these people got bombed or whatever the case was.
Yeah, but everybody got shoot. Like I said, the situation in Roseville, Florida, they said something about some brother raped some lady and turned out to be fake, but a bunch of white people came in and burnt down everything these people done built up. People had a whole thriving community. White people came in there and demolished it. So it happens a lot. You feel me? So they tell you about Henry Ford and how he don't really make cars, these manufacturers, and he ain't really got no IP type situation. And before him, it was some black guys doing their thing. I hate the fact that I can't think of their name right now. I got that. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna think about these two black brothers, but these two, like I said, Durham had shit running, which is why some people in Durham, and you know, it might be a battle for you guys, ADOS members. I fuck with y'all. I don't know, but I don't know what y'all battles is. But like, it's some people in Durham, like, yo, Rosa Parks ain't really do nothing. Yeah, we had our own buses. I don't even know why they was riding those buses anyways. I was like, God damn, for real? Right, so there's different narratives, and I'm not here to push no narrative, but, right, I was thinking, Empress, the main thing is we got to try to recreate that. So when you're saying that, I agree with that, but I don't think we should do it, because even the same way Tupac said, yo, don't be calling me no king and no none of this, bro. I see you right now. You a nigga. Like he was explaining, like, bro, I'm looking at your current situation, bro. There's no reason to tell me all that. What can we do moving forward? But like I always tell you, with this cast, I always explain a bunch of auxiliary things because I think that's the most important part of it. So we could talk about moving forward, but if you don't have the mindset, moving forward is pointless. Right, so that's also a thing. So yeah, I get your point as far as educating them, but
yeah, I just feel like it becomes a matter of the guy he got some fast money, he doesn't value it, and now he's at a poker table playing at the standard lot. It's not a good idea. I think that just enables discipline. It enables like measurement. Like it just enables a lot of things once you have knowledge of these different situations and the possibilities of what we have done and what we can do. So I think that's the main thing, is if you don't have no understanding of that, it's just like there's no value to it. So like you can just always be emotionally charged and driven. And it's not good, bro. It's very disastrous. Sometimes it's lethal.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I can go a couple different places with that, but yeah. All right, Amber, you had something for me down there.
Mole.
Nah, that one what you was I thought you had sent you a little funny, John.
Oh, I thought you were showing that on the phone. This one?
It should be. Is that something about Snowden? What is that?
Weeble app.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I thought that was an internet search. My bad.
Okay. Let's see. Control. Alrighty. Edward Snowden, Nayib Bukele, and others react to IMF wanting El Salvador to drop Bitcoin. Somebody sounds nervous. Former intelligence contractor Edward Snowden took aim at the International Monetary Fund for dishing out advice to El Salvador on its use of Bitcoin as a legal tender. Former intelligence contractor. All right. What happened? Snowden tweeted to his 5 million followers on Monday that somebody sounds nervous while sharing a news story that covered IMF's urge that El Salvador removes Bitcoin as a legal tender. Somebody sounds nervous.
Right. And where we had just me was reasoning earlier, and I had brought up Edward Snowden as far as like, people don't think about stuff. You need to look at everything. So it was funny to me that he made that little jab because they are nervous. People want sovereignty. Who this is? Somebody says this shit. I urge you to remove Bitcoin. They're screaming at him. Screaming at the brother from El Salvador. Oh, what is it? You gotta put him on a Drake body by the same color.
So like, is El Salvador's like economy in the same state as like Venezuela, or like, you know, these companies that are not companies, country? They're obviously companies, but yeah, these countries that are pretty much going through like these food shortages and, you know, different things that come with the falling economy. Are they on that same page, or
they're not as bad, but El Salvador
close enough?
Yeah, El Salvador is not a profitable country like that. Yeah, every time I see them, I remember seeing them somewhere down at the bottom by Jamaica and Haiti. Them, I know Haiti below Jamaica, and Jamaica somewhere, and El Salvador somewhere. So the poor guys. So yeah, I know for sure they're not doing extraordinary things.
Right. On Tuesday, the IMF executive board members urged El Salvador to drop the use of Bitcoin as a legal tender, warning of large risks related to financial stability, financial integrity, and consumer protection. In June, El Salvador became the first country in the world to adopt the Apex cryptocurrency as legal tender. Video will load. I see you, IMF. That's very nice. I just say IMF is just trying to draw attention to themselves. All right, so this is not the first time IMF has dished out advice to the Central American country. In a tweet in August, the international agency called Bitcoin an inadvisable shortcut while criticizing El Salvador's adoption of the private cryptocurrency. Oh, so they're trying to Max Payne El Salvador right now.
Imagine telling a nigga you taking a shortcut. As you trying to get your bag up too quick?
What's your attitude towards Bitcoin?
Man, right now, once you get your bag up. Empress, can you step out and get my block really fast?
Okay.
It's right on top of the table. But El Salvador, right? And it's so funny that I guess what they'll say is, yeah, right there, yes, ma'am. On that table right there next to the air fryer.
The block?
Yeah, the little John I used to charge my Johns. Man, I got some long ass stretch arms for arms. All right, 1 second, y'all. Let me grab this charger. No, sir. No, sirree. Nah. Oh yeah, phone coming back on. But what I'm about to do right now is we're about to dive into this .com crash. Like I said, I already did some comparisons and spoke about this, spoke about that, kind of brought up some company. What we started off super early when we was talking about the .com crash. We talked about flus. We also told you things like around that time there was also super low interest rates, right? Something that's similar to the situation now. We played the Druckenmiller where he explained that the difference was back then there was no quantitative easing. Interest rate was about 4 or 5, should have been about 6 or 7, things like that. So let me get this article pulled up. Right. So around 1993 is when Mosaic bust on the scene. Mosaic was around, the company, I think the origin of Mosaic was around 92. Right. So when you hear this continuous narrative where he was explaining that early it was the people that was selling the equipment. We're in the booth. The booth is in. We're in the booth. Let's go. So the reason why I got Empress pulling this up, like I said, this is the first browser, and this was the beginning of the .com boom. So you can liken this to, I guess you want to say, Bitcoin, right? No, you can't. But nevertheless, nigga, Mosaic was trying to do some shit. So I just brief. I don't want you to read too much. Just kind of like a little overview, kind of figure out if they still around, do they got a name, just stuff like that.
So don't read all of it.
Stuff that you think is important. I just don't even. I don't want to make you read everything. Whatever you can handle as far as the importance.
Okay, I'm just gonna start reading, and you can let me know because I don't know where I would see important stuff. But NCSA Mosaic, is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was one of the first web browsers. It was instrumental in popularizing the World Wide Web and the general internet by integrating multimedia such as text and graphics. It is a client for earlier internet protocols such as File Transfer Protocol, Network News Transfer Protocol, and Gopher. It was named for its support in multiple internet protocols, its intuitive interface, reliability, personal computer support, and simple installation all contributed to its popularity within the web. Mosaic is the first browser to display images in line with text instead of in a separate window. It is often described as the first graphical web browser, though it was preceded by World Wide Web, a lesser known Urwise, and Viola www.
Okay, so National Center for Supercomputing
Application.
Okay, so that's why they got the NCSA situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and right there, so the University of Illinois is just a little bit of that.
At the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, beginning in late 1992, and CSA released it in 1993 and officially discontinued development and support on January 7th, 1997.
So what happened from 93, these guys being so transcendent, these guys doing blah, blah, blah. What made something new? I had something else on there, but you could simply type it in. Like I got the link in there, but it's going to tell you another Wikipedia. But you could just right now type in Netscape.
Oh,
right.
It's right here. This one?
There you go.
Okay. Netscape Navigator was a proprietary web browser and original browser of the Netscape line from versions 1 to 4.0 and 9.x. It was a flagship product of the Netscape Communications Corporation and was the dominant web browser in terms of usage share in the 1990s, but by around 2003, its use had almost disappeared. It was partly because the Netscape Corporation, later purchased by AOL, did not sustain Netscape Navigator's technical innovation in the late 1990s. The business demise of Netscape was a central premise of Microsoft's antitrust trial, wherein the court ruled that Microsoft's bundling of the Internet Explorer with the Windows operating system was a monopolistic and illegal business practice. The decision came too late for Netscape, however, as Internet Explorer had by then become the dominant web browser in Windows.
But you about to say something, members?
That's interesting. That Microsoft pretty much, had a one-stop shop with their internet browser, and they had like an inline software system, or one of the first. And it annihilated Netscape, who just had the internet browser that obviously couldn't compete with innovation.
But Netscape,
very smart Microsoft.
Netscape came in and annihilated Mosaic because, like I said, Mosaic, it wasn't a navigator, right? So that's why you see the You see what the name is?
Mm.
You remember Netscape Navigator because it was a whole navigating type of. It just made it way smoother.
Segue from that whole black and green screen, right? It's
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
oh, we got some color here.
Yes, ma'am. Now we can start doing some stuff, right? So now now the boom is realized. 93 Mosaic make people say, yo, what's this World Web about? Now it looks a little different. What is it about? Around 95, Netscape Navigator comes in and changes the game. People say, yo, this is super easy. Now I can get one damn near. You feel me? Regular people start getting them now. Right? So they say by 97, what you had read, they was gone. Right? Right. Can you read a little bit about Nets? I think if you go down. No, go down. All right. Rise of do it tell you about the public offering? Okay. But nevertheless, right, the reason why I got that and so now you might have to go back to the notebook to get the other links. But the reason why I got that is because, like I was saying, is Netscape, once they came 95, the .com boom was in full effect. Now we done seen something more navigatable. Now we see, oh snap, this look like it can go to the masses. Now a lot of this things start making a lot more sense now, right? As far as when Netscape coming, so from 95 to 2000 is when you're gonna see this whole boom exceeds itself, where it has to retract, right? Because every time anything that inflates has to have a retraction. So this would have this is where we're gonna go.
Foundry?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But don't do Foundry just yet, because check this out. Netscape, they end up going public, I want to say 95, 95, 96, 95, I think. And once they went public, right, they went public and they got some crazy valuation. That's what I was saying is akin to what we're saying now, Empress, to think about like something like a Coinbase and all these guys. They're technically web browsers for the actual product that we want, something like a Bitcoin or something like this. These are just exchanges, right? So it's the same situation with Netscape, Mosaic. These are all just intermediaries for what you actually want.
And you're saying with the analogy of the railroad, and no one needs nails and hammers anymore because the railroad's already done.
Yes, ma'am. And we witnessed that happen with Coinbase, where it hasn't got back to its initial public offering, and then
because it's already done.
Yes, ma'am. Right. So now we just have to figure out where the floor is to figure out where we're going to start to retrace. Because right now we don't know the floor anymore. So what happened was Netscape went public and they wasn't profitable. So what people were saying was, throw valuation out the window, throw technical analysis, I don't care. Throw fundamentals out the window, throw it all out the window, I don't care.
Has no debt.
Yeah, you feel me? I don't care what's going on, but it's like, yo, but they're not profitable though. They haven't had a profitable year yet. Bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. This one of the best. Okay, cool. So they went public, not being profitable, got a nice little offering, and as soon as they went public, they doubled. As soon as they went public, they doubled. Profitability and valuations became pointless metrics, right? So it was just like, yo, I don't care about the evaluation. I don't care about none of that. I just want in on it. But I'm going to explain to you why they want in on it so bad. And I'm telling you that's why I'm setting the stage to show you the similarities right now, where I was saying a Netscape is like a Coinbase, a Mosaic is like I think they say, damn, I'm trying to think about what's that one person. They said they was the first person. Oh man, I can't think of their name. But you could even think about something like Binance. Binance used to be global, and it was like, yo, get that out of my John. Right? So you got like a half an internet also, right? So they're scaling you back. So I got Empras with this Foundry network, right? So run down Foundry really fast.
The company was founded in 1996. It is a networking hardware vendor selling high-end Ethernet switches and routers.
Just think about what I'm showing you, right, Empress? I showed you Netscape, I showed you Mosaic, now I'm showing you Foundry.
They acquired BLK Communication Systems on December 18, 2008, during the crash. Headquartered in Santa Clara, California. In its first year, the company operated under the names Premium Networks and Star Ridge Networks. But by January 1997, the name Foundry Networks was adopted. So somebody lost all of themselves January 7th, 1997. These people came and found themselves by January 1997.
All right. So you see that, right? And then, matter of fact, read that right there, the history, because that's important, because I want people to understand what I'm about to explain about the NASDAQ in a little bit also, too.
Foundry Networks had their initial public offering in 1999 during the internet bubble, with the company reaching a valuation of $9 billion on its first day of trading on NASDAQ with the symbol FDRY.
Keep that in your mind, Empress. So what they just told you happened the first day?
It went to $9 billion.
That's the valuation, right?
Oh, the valuation is $9 billion.
So Foundry was up 500% on the first day. 500% on the first day on the market. I don't know what you're about.
Is it still here?
I wish I had my bombs. I need my bombs, man. I need to, cause bro, what? 500% first day. You had to have caught this knife somewhere. You could have caught this knife anywhere. You almost came off like as an expert knife catcher. How easy this one seemed to be set up, but boom, I got another one in there, Empress. I got another one within that same spot.
GeekNet is a Fairfax County, Virginia-based company that is a subsidiary of GameStop. The company was formerly known as VA Research, VA Linux Systems, VA Software, and SourceForge Incorporated.
Okay, so I know them as VA Linux from the bubble situation. So what happened with VA Linux, Empress? They went public, and on the first day, they was up 700%. Right? What does VA what these guys got do? Because of the last dude you told me that they sell Ethernet cords. So these niggas trying to connect you to the net.
Yeah, they build and sell personal computer systems installed with the Linux operating system. So this is a competitor of the Windows operating system. As an alternative to more expensive Unix workstations that were available at the time, during its initial years of operation, the business was profitable and grew quickly, with over $100 million in sales and 10% profit margin in 1998. It was the largest vendor of pre-installed Linux computers, with approximately 20% of the Linux hardware market. In October 1998, the company received investments of $5.4 million from Intel and Sequoia Capital. In March and April 1999, VA Research purchased Enlightenment Solutions marketing company Electric Lesion LLC and VA Top's competitor, Linux Hardware Solutions. That year, VA Research also won a business plan competition for the right to operate the Linux.com domain. In May 1999, VA created a Linux Labs division, hiring former Linux.com domain holder and programmer Fred Van Kempen, the programmers John Mad Dog Hall, Geoff, Mandrake Harrison, Jeremy Allison, Richard Morrill, who would later create Smoothwall as a project at VA Linux, and San Network. Mihat, man, these are some interesting names. In the summer of 1999, programmers Tony Gunthorpe, Uriah Welcome, and Tim Purdue and Drew Streby began designing and developing SourceForge. SourceForge was released to the public at Comodex on November 17, 1990. VA began porting Linux to the new IA64 processor architecture in earnest. Intel and Sequoia, along with Silicon Graphics and other investors, added an additional $25 million investment in June 1999.
All right, so no, yeah. Can you buzz over the public offering really, really fast?
All right, the company's largest customers included Alchemy Technologies and eToys. The company changed its name to VA Linux Systems on December 9th.
All right,
the company became...
That's it. Largest customers? Alchemy, they was up 3%, 300% that first day. They went live too, but go ahead, read by these guys.
They became a public company via an initial public offering. The company raised $132 million offering shares at $30 per share, but the shares opened for trading at $229 per share before closing at $239.25 per share, or 698% above the IPO price, breaking a record for the largest first day gain. Larry Augustin, the 38-year-old founder and chief executive officer of the company, became a billionaire on paper, and a 26-year-old web developer at the company said she was worth $10 million on paper. By August 2000, the shares were trading at $40 each, and only 24 mutual funds held the stock. On December 8, 2000, 1 year later, after the bursting of the dot-com bubble, shares traded at $8.49 per share. In January 2001, the stock traded at $7.13 per share. By December 2002, it was worth $1.19 per share.
Right.
Yeah, this is why I'm not excited about these grand openings, because it's just like, all right, what happened? If we're talking about these, something didn't go right?
Why do you think? Yo, this is wild. This is wild, right? But why do you think they keep on stressing on paper, on paper, on paper? On paper, on
because
paper.
It's temporary.
Man, because at least 5 years. You a founder? I'm not. She wasn't a founder. Was she a founder?
No, web developer.
Okay. Oh,
Larry Augustin was the founder.
Okay. So she was okay. Never, man. She was getting to the bag. Had to be one of the richest women around that time. Empress, I'm not sure how to set up this situation, so I ain't really mess with it. But if you can take me back to the top, I could type something in with the computer. If you use the search bar inside this situation. Okay. Thank you.
What?
Qual. Right. Because I don't know if people know that they were around too. They were around too. All the couple of these companies are still around, Empress, right? They said that Mosaic was bought by AOL. AOL gone. Somebody. All right, so let me run this down about the one brothers we was talking about. Netscape. A week after Netscape went public, Internet Explorer, they was gone. There was no longer Netscape. It was Internet Explorer. They were gone. A week after going public, Netscape was no longer Netscape. She escaped. Right? It's crazy. And I think it's because they had an open source situation where they came in on some open source type vibes. So everybody kind of had the you feel me? Everybody had the shiz on. You know, everybody had the shiz on, bro. And what I'm explaining, what I'm saying, everybody had the shiz on. It was the code was out there. It was open source code, so people literally was able to build on top of it, and they got swallowed up quick. But Empress, do you see anything about them about the initial public offering? So, but right here it said Qualcomm was established 95. Just to read that really fast, and also what they do. Just because I want to stress the point of what I'm beating it into their head that I'm showing you niggas doing Ethernet. Last but Empress said they doing computers with Linux software, and they changed their name to GeekNet. That VA Linux guys, they GeekNet. So all right, go ahead and do your thing.
Qualcomm was established in 1985 by Erin Jacobs and 6 other co-founders. Its early research into CDMA wireless cell phone technology was founded by selling a two-way mobile digital satellite communication system known as Omnitrax. After a heated debate in the wireless industry, the 2G standard was adopted with Qualcomm CDMA patents incorporated. Afterwards, there was a series of legal disputes about pricing for licensing patents required by the standard. Over the years, Qualcomm has expanded into selling semiconductor products in a predominantly fabless manufacturing model. They also develop semiconductor components or software for vehicles, watches, laptops, Wi-Fi, smartphones, and other devices.
Yes, ma'am. They make batteries for jumpers. So does it say anything about the public offering? That's what I really want to see if I can get any gist. That's go down 68 million.
Right here. Qualcomm was operating at a loss in the 1990s due to its investment in CDMA research. To obtain funding, the company filed an initial public offering in September 1991, raising $68 million. An additional $486 million was raised in 1995 through the sale of 11.5 million more shares. The second funding round was done to raise money for the mass manufacturing of CDMA-based phones, base stations, and equipment. After most U.S.-based cellular networks announced they would adopt the CDMA standard, the company had $383 million in annual revenue in 1995 and $814 million by 1996. In 1998, Qualcomm was restructured, leading to a 700-employee layoff. Its base station and cell phone manufacturing businesses were spun off in order to focus on its higher margin patents and chipset businesses. Since the base station division was losing $400 million a year, having never sold another base station after making its 10th sale, profits skyrocketed in the following year, and Qualcomm was the fastest growing stock on the market with 2,621% growth over 1 year. By 2000, Qualcomm had grown to 6,300 employees, $3.2 billion in revenues, and $670 million in profit. 39% of its sales were from CDMA technology, followed by licensing 22%, wireless 22%, and other products 17%. Around this time, Qualcomm established offices in Europe, Asia Pacific, Latin America. By 2001, 65% of Qualcomm's revenues originated from outside the United States, with 35% coming from South Korea.
That's about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what he said in 1 year, Qualcomm was up 3,000%, damn near, and in just a year, 3,000%. As a actual good company, right? You said 2,000 something. Yeah, I did. Market with a 2,621% growth over 1 year.
We're okay right here, yeah.
Right? Basically 3,000% growth, bro, in a year. Man, some people was walking away like a fucking duck. Like a quack. Stop when you see me walking by. Cause I ain't stopping. Bro, 3,000%? So why did the crash happen? Right? We just explored it. Empress is the I'm not sure if you want to check the notebook. I think that should be all the Johns. Well, yeah, now you whatever you. Right. So, what I'm showing y'all is this crash came based on the same thing that's going on right now, sort of. Similarities that I threw out there was low rates initially, but once they raised the interest rate, like I said, right now we got quantitative easing in the situation. But also around that time, OG extended the welfare program a little too long. That fed the crash. Same thing right now, and this bubble is bigger than that bubble. So, it's
So ultimately, are you saying the reason why the market is looking the way it's looking because of a .com-esque crash? Like, are you saying like it's a change of hands as far as like use case for like different technology? Like, are you saying the reason why the stock market is down is because there's like new technology coming in that is kind of switching money around? Because that's what the .com bubble seemed to be about. The reason why it happened was because just the use case and the innovation just wasn't there. It didn't innovate, so it died out.
It didn't match the valuation, which is the most important thing, right? People spent far more money than they was able to gain in return, which caused a separate crash.
Wait, and that's according to what? If it went up 3,000% in the first day?
That's the first year.
I mean, first year.
And other people went up 500 in a day and 700 in a day, 300 in a day. But that's only a day of trading. Who goes up 700% in a day and stop trading?
No one.
I was about to say, that guy only ate one Lay's potato chip. Right? That's a hard thing to do.
Right.
So that's what happens, Empress. So what I wanted you to do is also you doing something else. I don't want to bug you. If you got some free arms, I wanted to bring up Y2K. I'm not sure if you know exactly about the Y2K situation, but this is why this pop happened. This pop that you're seeing at 1999, where you're seeing these crazier numbers, that pop is from Y2K. that extreme pop comes from Y2K. Same thing with COVID. That's what I'm trying to show you. There's some similarities in these two bubbles. This bubble right here bigger based on the amount of money we got, the amount of debt, all that bullshit. And we was in a hot market. The market wasn't that hot around there. That was just boom. It was some injection into the market. So it's a slightly different, but what could we do right now? Us as lower income people, you got a dog in the race, because if they fail, you fail. You can't get caught up in like, I don't know stocks anyways. TSD stocks. You told me 90% of the middle class. It's the middle class that shoot though, bro. The poor people and the rich people good. Yeah, the poor people and the rich people good, bro. No, bro. Nothing works like that, bro. Shit runs downhill. You gonna have a bunch of middle class niggas moving in your poor ass neighborhood.
Yeah, that lady from earlier, bro. That's the epitome of talking with authority and just sounding so dumb. Like what? What? What are you saying, lady? Hello, do you not know about meme coins? Do you want to know why they exist? I promise you it ain't freaking whales in there.
But he went in and immediately said NFTs. That's why I was wondering why she was so confused. Like, bro, you think there's a bunch of rich niggas buying? All right, cool. Maybe you got me.
Yeah, because she probably looking at she probably looking at Jake Paul, Lil Baby, all these celebrities with NFTs. And like, yeah, this is obviously rich people spending money on this. Man, she got it so twisted. First and foremost, no, they didn't pay for those. Those are endorsements, and they are getting paid majority of the time to push those things. So
they'll never pay for it. I'm telling you, bro.
Like, what do you?
If these motherfuckers had to make their own bag and buy shit with their own money, they wouldn't spend it like that. You heard you heard the young brother Tory Lanez. It was a labor budget. I had to spend it anyways. I had to spend it. I'm gonna spend it in there. I got to spend it anyways.
You have to give it back. It's like you might be better off getting it back though, bud, because you don't know what to do with it. And you're really not about to know what to do in a little bit when you are in the hole so deep. Hey. And everybody like, dang, another one bites the dust with that broke stuff, bro. Like, and no one understands why these rappers go so deep into debt. Loans, they call it cash advance. Even with taxes, cash advance. It's a little asterisk at the bottom. Says this money is borrowed money, bro, and there's interest on it. Money that you never even took from me that you got to pay back. Okay? Understand that, bro. Do not let them get tricked in these scholarships. Scholarship become partial scholarships, which means you have to take loans out because you can't pay it. It's a partial. It ain't paying for that much, and it's usually paying for what? An expensive book. You could possibly buy one book with that partial scholarship at the rate of inflation. At this point. So do not get confused on these words. You guys need to understand concepts because they're going to always change the names.
Look, that's how I say college kids, bro. We was in college, bro. We played with it. We were supposed to be like, yo, how you selling them books? Man, I need to create a software with book buyers and booksellers.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big just a big library.
Chegg was like the Chewy.
Nigga, just come on here, nigga. You a book buyer or you a bookseller? What college course you need? How good you need it? Do you need a bad one? Do you need bro? I'm running through them. What are you, man? You got me flecked up how quick I'm running through them. I'm running through them like a running back. I'm like a fullback. I'm like a big head man, bro.
You see where it's at there?
Yeah. White boys, not white boys, a couple immigrants. They created something called Sweet Greens. I was telling Empress about it the other day. And it was simply just being in college, like, yo, ain't no healthy genre, man. Damn. So there's no salad nowhere. How much you pay for a salad right now, bro? Man, I'll pay anything for a salad, dude. For real? Anything for salad? Yo, now we just make salads, bro. What type of dressing you want? We got all the dressings. We went to Walmart, nigga, and stocked up on all the different dressings. We tried all the different salads. Man, you don't get it. And then look, this is how you market to the community. Yo, we're gonna use the local greens. That's what all these companies do, and they go to shit. Yo, they try to figure out, yo, what type of breaks I get.
ESG.
You got some good breaks? I ain't got no good breaks. I can't roll with you. I'm gonna hit you right back. I gotta see if them boys they got some better breaks. So let's see what's going on with Y2K.
Year 2000 problem, also known as Y2K problem, and Millennium bug, Y2K bug, Y2K glitch, Y2K error, refers to potential computer errors related to the formatting and storage of calendar data for dates in and after the year 2000. Many programs represented 4-digit years with only the final 2 digits, making the year 2000 indistinguishable from 1900. Computer systems and ability to distinguish dates correctly have the potential to bring down worldwide infrastructures for industries ranging from banking to air travel. Oh gosh, is this like the ultimate conspiracy theory?
I'm just telling you, this is why motherfuckers had to get Qualcomm. This is why we had to update our system. Yo, update your system. What system you got, bro? No, that system is outdated. It only got 4 numbers. It cannot go to 2000. You're not going to be able to make it to the jump. Hold on, what jump? There's a jump coming, dude. Get on.
Yo, imagine that. It's like, yo, because they did that with other things too, though. Yeah, you can easily get a whole group of people just publicly fear-mongering themselves based off of one person's level of authority. But with trains, they thought like we were literally gonna blow up like nuclear fission devices if we went too fast and sat still like that. They were like, bro, we're gonna go so fast, we're just gonna burst.
They told you even back in the days when people used to run, it was a 4-minute mile. Now they got in high school where those are standards. If you're on a basketball team, I remember in middle school, Coach Dean did it to us. You had to run at least, I think, a 5-minute mile. A 5-minute mile was the slowest time. But if you're a big man, I think you get 6 minutes or something. But you had to do it. And I remember doing it barefooted one day. And I don't know. I think Coach Dean had sized me. I'll tell y'all I ain't play 7th grade. I think Coach Dean ended up sizing me and shit. Like, yeah, you're running too slow on the track. You're not gonna make the mile.
Everybody always sizing you.
Right. Big go to Tulip Mania real quick. Right there on the search.
Tulip?
Oh, I got it. What do you mean that I'm saying? What do you mean? I'm saying that I always say that everybody always sizing me?
Mm-hmm.
G shit. I never said that. Who else has sized me before? Bro, I'm running down.
Coach Dean, can you look at MetaTrader?
I'm running down similarities right now. Nobody can size me, dude. That's all I'm telling you. Now, why am I looking at MetaTrader?
Where you at?
Huh?
What's your price at?
Price at 37.4. I'm in a whole nother bracket right now.
No, 36 what? 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to read this Tulip Mania though.
Okay, Tulip Mania was a period during the Dutch Golden Age when contract prices for some bulbs of the recently introduced and fashionable tulip reached extraordinarily high levels, with the major acceleration starting in 1634 and then dramatically collapsing in February 1637. It is generally considered to have been the first recorded speculative bubble or asset bubble in history. In many ways, the Tulip Mania was more of a then unknown socioeconomic phenomenon than a significant economic crisis. It had no critical influence on the prosperity of the Dutch Republic, which was one of the world's leading economic and financial powers in the 17th century, with the highest per capita income in the world from about 1600 to about 1720. The term tulip mania is now often used metaphorically to refer to any large economic bubble when asset prices deviate from intrinsic values.
Right. So, like I said, we always just want to come in here and offer information, because with information you have power. We give you source information, you hear the actual facts, you're able to make decisions, right? So what I was actually setting up today, what we actually set up today was to show you how there is similarities, but within those similarities, there's differences. So now, even if we don't even worry about the differences and we focus on the similarities, think about it. There was also companies that survived. There was also companies that went on to be super profitable. Amazon.com is a .com. So I don't know if y'all get that was it, but it all started back then, right? So don't lose your mind. Google.com, yeah, like a lot of those things was the .com bubble. So don't think that everything failed. So what happens is speculation dies, NFTs dies, random cryptocurrency that don't have finite supply and don't have no utility dies, right? But the actual market, bro, this is just a pullback. Just like Druckenmiller said, if you hold these things for 3 to 5 years, it's an uptick. Same thing if you hold anything really that's up that's actually a good product. 5 years minimum, it's an uptick. VCs and them people, they say they look at shit in the terms of 10 years. So you got to think about a lot of that stuff, bro. You can't be so short-sighted, because the people that's really making the money, bro, they've been doing this shit a long time. And it's consistency. They consistently do the same things. Consistently execute on the same plays. And that's how you win, bro. So like he was saying, even when you trade in and you see something going up, it may not be a chance to buy it, right? Sometimes you set it up. If it's a chance to buy, then it's a chance to buy, but don't just buy because it's running. It may have ran, right? So just like I asked y'all a multitude of times during this cast, is this a crash or just a crash course? Right? Is this just one of those motherfucking PhD course that they just shoved into a month, right? Because you can do that if you go to get your CDL license. You can get your CDL license in a week. The classes from 6 in the morning, I think, to about 6 in the evening. Like, it's longer classes, blah blah blah. Or you can do a month. You can get your CDL license in a month, or they got like another longer program. So that's why I was saying it may just be a crash course, right? It may just be a way to course correct. Like, it's almost like you was driving too fast and something came in your way, and it was like, and like you losing your wheel and you get it back, and like that was a crash course. Like, you learn a lot in that 1 second that I couldn't even teach you just by telling you. There's no real way to depict those things coming. So yeah, bro, right now you're living through something. You in history now. Shout out to you. Whoever out here, bro, is in history, cuz we gotta be standing by some people. Like, we gotta start standing by some people, right? Make sure you standing by some Black Wall Street Bets people, right? Make sure you standing by some folks. Cause at the end of this situation, it's gonna be some folks. There's gonna be some folks. And that's all I got to say, really. I don't know if Empress doesn't say anything special, but at the end of this shit, it's gonna be some folks, bro.
So with like all of these events or speculative bubbles, like, are you saying Tulip Mania came first, arguably, and then Y2K?
Nah, because we had, but as far as people speculating that crazy, nah, because we had the situation with the rice. It was a big rice situation. I can't really remember it, but it happened in China. I'm gonna pull these dates up, but yeah, this is a consistent thing in human history, right? So we always recognize that where it's a psychological thing where there's always something that's just weird. It's just a weird itch, and I don't know what it is, because like even in 2008, what was it? Everybody wanted to buy houses. It's like, yo, it's a house bubble.
Yeah, I think everybody borrowed.
You ain't got no house.
And couldn't afford the insurance, taxes, and everything else that came with it because of that whole 2008, John.
I want to do a little research on that, because look.
The 2008 crash?
The 2008. OG was saying that it didn't even make it to inflation because the bubble just randomly popped. You feel me? Everybody was vibing and then the bubble just popped. Empress, you're not like, right? So that, oh my God.
Because I'm really trying to get it. Because if you're saying Y2K and then after that 08 and now it's the 2020 COVID thing, right? Like, would you argue that 2008 was premature because it's really supposed to be 2010? Because it seems to happen on zeros. If it ends in a zero, it's like a new beginning almost. But the A is technically two O's.
The first one, the Dutch John, when the Dutch was
1637, 34. No, hold on.
So they don't end in a zero, but there was a situation that happened in the 1970s. That happened in 1932. I would say.
Yeah, collapsed in 1637.
Yeah, so
okay.
Right, I see what you're saying though, but there's always weird things there because I don't know what happened. Like I said, if we study it, we'll be able to see it because the way we analyze data, like I said, that matter of fact, talking about it, that's what we're gonna do. Like I said, bro, when we do these market casts, bro, it's a lot more about education. Right, it's a lot more about understanding things that already happened because it almost gives you a foresight on what's going to come. Where you say, "Yo, I've seen this before." Druckenmiller, bro. If you go look at everything he dropped in 2021, bro, you'll be like, "What? Okay, cool. Let me speak about the crash." My phone is off, so a little bit of the notes and stuff that I probably wanted to bring up is not here, but it's in my notebook. Matter of fact, I don't even care about it. What happens is insiders, Empress. Me and you watch a cast with insiders, and we heard them since last year saying that they getting out of stuff like Solana, and he even came on there and said, "Yo, all the smart money is getting out. I'm getting out. What are you talking about?" He kept on saying that, and then now it's crashing. Everybody is fumbling. The smart money's been getting out.
We told you guys that these YouTubers and their little audiences are getting out at certain numbers.
Yes, ma'am. Right. So everybody got certain thresholds that they were willing to go through. And we can't get so caught up. Like that same thing I was saying with retailers. Like retailers, they got so caught up. And that's why I was saying with Black Wall Street, we do things a lot different, bro. It's logical. Like, I want you to know the history. I don't want you to just think that you just running off. People ran off before.
Bro, imagine if you have reoccurring payments right now. Your average cost is getting worked in. You getting some nice average costing.
Yo, man, my phone died. I posted an article in the group chat one day, and it was showing that if you invested like I think $10 for 5 years or some shit, you will have something like 80, some crazy amount of money. And I'm like, bro, just look at that. And that's like weekly or monthly. It wasn't even nothing crazy where you're doing it daily or nothing. I think it was monthly. Something as small as $10 monthly over a 5-year period, nigga. I'm telling you, bro, we don't look at the long game.
All right. The housing bubble for the United States was one of the things that caused the 2008 crash, but there are multiple vulnerabilities there. So the United States housing bubble was a real estate bubble affecting over half of the U.S. states. It was an impetus. You see it?
Yeah, impetus
for the subprime mortgage crisis. Housing prices peaked in early 2006, started to decline in 2006 and 2007, and reached new lows in 2012. On December 30, 2008, the Case-Shiller Home Price Index reported its largest price drop in its history. The credit crisis resulting from the bursting of the housing bubble is an important cause of the Great Recession in the United States. Increased foreclosure rates in 2006 and 2007 among U.S. homeowners led to a crisis in August 2008 for the subprime Alt-A collateralized debt obligation, also known as CDO, mortgage credit, hedge fund, and foreign bank markets. In October 2007, the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury called the bursting housing bubble the most significant risk to our economy. Any collapse of the U.S. housing bubble has a direct impact not only on home valuations, but mortgage markets, home builders, real estate, home supply, retail outlets, Wall Street hedge funds held by large institutional investors, and foreign banks, increasing the risk of a nationwide recession. Concerns about the impact of the collapsing housing credit markets on the larger U.S. economy caused President George W. Bush and the Chairman of the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, to announce a limited bailout of the U.S. housing market for homeowners who were unable to pay their mortgage debts. In 2008 alone, the United States government allocated $900 billion in special loans and rescues related to the U.S. housing bubble. This was shared between the public sector and the private sector because the large market share of Federal National Mortgage Association, Fannie Mae, and the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, Freddie Mac, both of which are government-sponsored enterprises, as well as the Federal Housing Administration. They received a substantial share of government support even through their mortgages and were conservatively underwritten and actually performed better than those of the private sector.
Okay, so yeah, we could definitely dive into this on the next one because I could tie this into this.
Okay.
Interesting content.
And then really quick, just to give you guys a gist on the Great Recession, it was a period marked by general decline observed in national economies globally that occurred between 2007 and 2008. The scale and timing of the recession varied from country to country. At the time, the International Monetary Fund, we just were talking about them, IMF, concluded that it was the most severe economic and financial meltdown since the Great Depression. One result was a serious disruption of normal international relations. The causes of the Great Recession include a combination of vulnerabilities that developed in the financial system, along with a series of triggering events that began with the bursting of the United States housing bubble in 2005 to 2012. When housing prices fell and homeowners began to abandon their mortgages, the value of mortgage-backed securities held by investment banks declined in 2007 through 2008, causing several to collapse or be bailed out in September 2008. This 2007 to 2008 phase was called the subprime mortgage crisis. The combination of banks unable to provide funds to businesses and homeowners paying down debt rather than borrowing and spending resulted in the Great Recession that began in the U.S. officially in December 2007 and lasted until June 2009, thus extending over 19 months. As with most other recessions, it appears that no known formal, theoretical, or empirical model was able to accurately predict the advance of this recession, except for minor signals in the sudden rise of forecast probabilities, which were still well under 50%. This is a map showing real GDP growth rates for 2009. Countries in brown were in a recession. Yep.
There's Africa right here, greened out.
Right here, yeah.
Africa greened out.
Who is this?
They greener than a flatfish.
Do you know what that is?
It is.
This is Asia.
Yeah.
Yes, these are the bros that pretty much are the foreign banks that were helping America pay for all of these housing situations, because it mentions it right here.
We were long heads.
So this is how they accumulated most of the debt right here.
Nah, that's how they accumulated. Well, back then, yeah, it made sense. But now, you know how much debt we got? Trillions of dollars debt.
29. We're at 89 per person now. I just checked today when I was talking.
We went up again.
89K now. We were at 84 last time we checked. What the heck?
Yo, black bros. I was actually out where you think somebody keeping the numbers for the fuck of it. You think somebody out there just playing with numbers? Like,
what you call it? The Louisiana Purchase?
Man, hey, let's hope, right? Let's hope that Y2K hit their ass. Right? Oh, let's hope. Man, let's hope. We in 2020. This is Y2K.
Okay.
Oh, no, we in 2022. This is Y2K right here. Yeah, it's Y2K because it's 222. It's a 0. That's 2 Ks. Right. So nevertheless, Y2K about to hit y'all,
right here,
bro.
because it says any collapse of the U.S. housing bubble has a direct impact not only on home valuations but mortgage markets, home builders, real estate, home supply, retail outlets, Wall Street hedge funds held by large institutional investors, and foreign banks, increasing the risk of a nationwide recession. And with that being said, who actually purchased all of these houses that went into foreclosure? Would you say all these were American companies?
Nah, but it's a lot of American companies that purchased stuff. Because BlackRock went around and purchased everything. Because it was a whole thing about bringing Wall Street.
And BlackRock is a global company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying what? It can be it could be Asian, American, anything.
It could be anything, but they are American-based companies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so when you watch that So Expensive or whatever it was, like I thought they were like based in like Europe or something like that.
No.
Like they had a weird connection.
Type in BlackRock right now to see what my boy Larry figure out going on.
BlackRock Investment Management Corporation from the United States. Corporation based in New York City, founded in 1988, initially as a risk management and fixed income institutional asset manager. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with $10 trillion in assets under management as of January 2022. BlackRock operates globally with 70 offices in 30 countries and clients in 100 countries.
Yeah, every time I hear that number, I'm like, yo, these boys are out there, motherfucker.
70 offices in 30 countries.
They out of their asset manager mind, bro. They're managing everybody's asset. $10 trillion under like you could, man, bro.
Wait, what? BlackRock has sought to position itself as an industry leader in environmental, social, and corporate governance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they doing? They just managing money. Are they saying they staying away from Bitcoin because it's not ESG?
They spoke, yeah. They're staying away from one time. Cause you know they got investors. They had told their investors that they can't invest in something. They like did some little pullbacks. I don't know why I'm forgetting it right now.
And it's unprecedented investments in China. That's the last sentence right here. But yeah, so BlackRock is in somebody's bed.
BlackRock is rich, bro. Everybody in BlackRock bed, bro. $10 trillion asset, bro.
Oh, did this yep.
Huh?
Surely did. It turned off.
Whoa, what happened?
This, I think, is done. This box.
Man, I gotta put this down on the charger because I ain't ready then. I'm using this, bro. Did I get that box?
Okay.
One second. What?
Oh, the screen just turned off randomly.
Oh, yeah, that happens. That happens when you reach down there. What happened to me? So I seen it happen to you.
But yeah, okay. So the 2008 one was a global, John. But this one's obviously global too, right? Or would you say this is U.S.?
Any crash is going to be weirdly global because it messes up trade.
Yeah, the volume completely changes.
Right. So if niggas start going in a recession and they can't purchase shit no more, who you send it to? Yeah, so there's always things. But yeah, that's the main thing I was saying. As far as with the inflation, we try to use that so we can try to recession is normal.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want to overly recess. You don't want to get too skinny or you don't want to get too fat, bro. It's just a perfect balance in my eye, Empress.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Empress, how you doing?
Huh?
You good?
No, I'm kind of tired.
I can't work with you. Fire you.
How are you?
I can't even check my chart yet, so
You going through it?
I'm a little eye down.
Don't do it.
1 second, Virgin. But yeah, I wanted to bring something up. Empress, you got your no, that one there. You got charts on yours?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Empress busy, bro. I knew you were distracted, bro. Do your thing, Empress.
No, I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting there. But this battery's not in the both best of positions. But the chart's right here. 37.2.
Yeah, I wanted to call a sell. Oh, I said I want to watch what's going on. Can you go on the bigger time frame and tell me who is looking to catch? You know, it's no
1 hour. 30.
We probably have to check 20 on the phone. But about 2 hours, how far it is closer. This is the ride right here. I might want to see. And you see, go to the 4 hour. You see, based on setup logic, we can't drop this. Based on setup logic, we don't want to drop that, Empress.
Are you going to use this to kind of go up? Well, yeah, you can use multiple because it's a 4 hour. They got more time to work.
Yeah, it could use it could drop both of those because we're still in the uptrend. And
wait, you're saying can't drop because the script is no longer. It's not going to fit the script.
Yeah, it's not in no movement up. There's nothing saying nothing.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
So it have to at least get one more push.
But yeah, it can definitely get down here to what 35.2, and just work its way back up, and then get a higher one, and then go. Or no, you're saying it has to go super trend.
That'd be healthy. It's like what bro was explaining when he was like, people that's outside the market when they see weird things going on, they just stay out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. That's some weird things going on. But yeah, I'm ready, Empress.
Alrighty, guys, that is the conclusion of episode 180 of the Black Wall Street Bets Taco Tuesday, where we talk about currency only. We will be back on Friday with our Freestyle Friday segment at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, keep checking out the clips and peace.